All right. Hello, hello. How's everyone doing here tonight? How are we doing? Big shout out to you guys here. How's everyone doing? Wow. Good to see you guys here. We're going to be watching Angron tonight, guys. I've been super excited to check this one out for a while. You guys have been fucking blowing it up with this one. Let me tell you. Holy. So many people have been telling me to watch Angron, dude. It's been such a long time coming, dude. I'm excited to see this. Hey, that's what's up. Hopefully audio good, everything that way. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I did try to change the stream settings a little bit. I don't know if it's better, if it's worse. Hopefully it's not too terrible for you guys. Hopefully you guys have a good time. Yeah, big thank you to our members of the channel, obviously, the Hastati and our Triarii out there, Paralyzed Tortoise. Big thank you to you, sir. Oh yes, the man who pissed off the orcs galaxy-wide. One of Warrior Tier's best videos. Yeah, man. This is a long one too, obviously, and we have seen Warrior Tier on the channel, obviously, before as well. Man, I love his work. I love his narration, obviously. I mean, he does fantastic work. So 2 hours of this, I can't wait. You know what I'm saying? Volume's good so far. That's great to hear. Awesome, guys. Awesome. Well, yeah. Without any further delay, you know, hit that like button if you're enjoying, subscribe for more content from me, and leave your recommendations down in the comments, eventually when there is comments, down below. And without any further delay, guys, let's get right into this, eh? Because I'm ready for this. Let's make sure the quality is best it can be here. Oh, my screen went black there for a second. Let's see, that was odd. 1440. Let's press play. Awesome. Blood axes, large. Yeah, we're going to restart here. Obviously, I am going to be writing stuff down. This isn't really an informative video, but obviously to learn more about Angron. I do know he is the Primarch of the World... what is it? The World Eaters? Yeah, the World Eaters, yeah. So I think his tale is that of tragedy, right? He fell during the Horus Heresy, if I'm correct. Yeah. Let's see here, guys. Let's get right into it. That'll be edited out in the full video, don't worry. Oh wow, thank you.
How far up do you want to go? I'm not breathing well up here.
The plum brandy
Oh, wow.
from last night could be to blame.
Oh, quiet. Tell me, what are we doing up here?
You saw the same thing I did. We're not turning back now.
The slavers ascended the frigid, snow-covered range, searching for what could have caused the blinding flash of light above the Cellectra ridge that they saw hours before.
I did.
So not to pause right off the bat, but guys, I find it really cool how the text is done in this. Obviously, you have different portraits for the characters to show like the narration. I think that's really awesome to show who's talking. And obviously with the background, the wind, man, that's fucking sweet. I really like how, if this is the style we can expect throughout, that's fucking awesome, man. Wow.
Slavers ascended the frigid, snow-covered range, searching for what could have caused the blinding
Do you
flash
prefer
of
informative
light
videos
above
or
the
action
Cellectra
dramatic?
ridge that they saw.
Well, here, let's pause real quick here. You guys are asking me some questions. Man, the informative videos are so nice, just to get the larger context. But the animations, man, seeing those battle scenes, seeing all the action throughout, I think that's awesome to see. So man, it's a hard one. I think I'm gonna side with the animations, but you need to watch some of the lore videos for certain because, bro, it adds so much context, and obviously people like Luton do such a fantastic job with the lore of the universe. And obviously Pancreas Snowworks, we checked him out today too. Love that video. I thought that was fantastic. Got to rewind to catch up. Yeah. These are productions, man, for sure. It is extremely well made. I want to say, I can't elaborate the artwork, the illustration in the background, and again, that narration. If we can expect that throughout, crazy.
Searching for what could have caused the blinding flash of light above the Cellectra ridge that they saw hours
The
before.
Cellectra Ridge.
I did see it, but I'm starting to think that whatever it wasn't worth the trip.
That's fair. Usually isn't, am I right?
What is that?
As the slavers continued walking, they saw what appeared to be a pile of nearly 50 corpses in the distance. The
Wow.
slavers drew their rifles as they advanced.
What are those?
They're dead.
No, are they dead?
Well, look. Is that a boy?
Look at the size of him.
Oh.
We're gonna be rich.
So this is before Angron is like obviously a Primarch. I think this is when they're first finding him, when he was first sent to his world, right? Is that correct? God damn, man. That's interesting. And he's bodies everywhere. It's fucking brutal out there, man. Wow. Holy shit. Okay, I didn't realize we were going to be picking up right at the start, you know what I'm saying, of everything. I think that's awesome. Wow. Let's keep going here. They're going to be rich. Yeah, they're slavers. They're trying to enslave them. Damn.
These are,
2 hours? Yeah, it's a long one.
Did he, kill him? Who is he?
Our biggest payday ever. If he survives.
Oh, he'll survive. Brother, make no mistake, he will survive. I will survive. It's probably copyrighted. Can't do that. Oops. He's still a Primarch, just a kid? Yeah. First emerged from his gestation capsule. Crazy. By the way, this fucking intro is sick. I want to rewatch it in its entirety. But yeah, that's super interesting. He just came out of his gestation pod, and this guy's already catching bodies like right off the bat, dude. Like what the fuck, you know? Like, holy shit. I'm sure some of the other Primarchs, obviously other Primarchs had it rough as well. Some of it had it a bit more cushy than others, to my understanding, but wow. And he destroyed the Eldar, which ultimately sealed his fate in the long run, really. After the Primarchs re-yeeted across the galaxy. Yeah, wow. Alright, guys. Let's watch this intro. The music's probably copyrighted, but we'll watch it. This looks sick. Even 1-year-old Primarchs are still built like shock. Yeah, literally, man. He's sitting there like fucking bodies all around him, bathed in blood. Like, what the fuck? Shia 1.
The slave is returned to Deshea, the young warrior contained in a net. He was sold to House Thalkir, one of the most powerful clans on Nuceria. This clan was part of the wealthy elite, known by the slaves of the world as the High Riders. They lived behind their walls in lavish palaces, while the rest lived in poverty.
They saw the future and tried to kill him
the
before
High
it could
Riders of
happen.
Nuceria, being the tyrant rulers that they were, orchestrated violent skirmishes that took place within the many gladiator
Primarch's
pits.
always a Primarch,
In
yeah.
the capital city of Deshea, these barbarous contests took many forms.
Wow. That's right, we kind of briefly heard about that. They had like gladiatorial combat on this fucking world, and that's kind of like what, obviously not what started his bloodlust, as we can clearly see, but what honed it, I guess, what made him such an effective warrior over time, I believe. I think we kind of heard that a little bit about him, if that's not incorrect.
It took place within the many gladiator pits. In the capital city of Deshea, these barbarous contests took many forms. The gladiator slaves were often pitted against each other. Other times, they were thrown into the pits to fight abhuman beasts or witches.
Wow.
More often than not, a battle would end with one side conceding defeat, as this would allow the High Riders to keep an ample inventory of fighters.
That makes sense.
Sometimes, these fights were large group battles. Other times, they were one-on-one duels.
Oh, you'll find out. I have no doubt.
The same. But what was consistent was the crowd of roaring Nucerians that turned out to watch the brutal, inhumane contest unfold. These poor, downcast people would flock to the arenas and wager what little coin they had on their chosen warriors.
Wow.
When Angron was introduced to the gladiator pits, he was confused and afraid.
Confused and afraid,
He
but
found
not
himself
for
unable to
long.
comprehend what was happening. Standing on the first step of a large, pyramid-shaped platform with nearly 100 others.
Oh, wow.
He was surrounded by a thunderous crowd of chanting humans. Metallic spheres.
This looks fantastic,
the
guys.
slaves as maggots' eyes flew overhead and emitted sounds
Holy
and
shit.
unusual voices to the uneasy gladiators below.
Which one of these
Wow.
warriors possesses the strength needed
This is
to
super
endure
cool how
the
it's done.
devil's tears? Place your wagers.
Suddenly, Angron heard a collective gasp from the other slaves as massive doors on the pit walls opened and a foul-smelling liquid began to pour into the pit.
Oh.
Angron did not understand what they were saying, but was quickly beginning to comprehend the words that the slaves were speaking.
Oh.
Quick, boy, grab my hand.
He watched in horror as someone made contact with the black liquid and screamed in agony.
Oh. Fucking dissolves you? Is that what it does?
There's no room.
A woman slipped trying to make it up to the
More
next
advanced
stair
Rome?
and unleashed
Wow.
a gut-wrenching scream.
It's kind of cool,
The
actually.
acid
That's an
continued
interesting
to fill the
concept.
pit and submerged the bottom steps. With less room to stand, those remaining on the platform began to panic. Desperation began to overcome the remaining slaves as only a few steps remained. They stopped helping those around them and started to fend others off so they could survive. Angron maneuvered the quickly sinking pyramid flawlessly.
So they're making them
A
fight to
man
the death
charged
until
at
there's one
Angron
left.
and attempted to shove him into
It's
the
awful
acid,
sick.
but it was to no avail.
Hey, I appreciate
Angron
that,
was
Captain
simply
K.
Too strong. It wasn't until
Try to do my
no other
best for you
options
guys,
were
you know?
available that Angron began to physically overpower the remaining slaves.
Oh.
He countered incoming punches and sent his attackers scrambling into the acid below. One of the flying spheres idled above the frantic gladiators and seemed to taunt them.
Damn.
Fascinating. Grown men being outmatched by a young boy. Who will remain standing?
Oh, a young boy.
Near the top of the pyramid,
These guys got no
only
idea.
Angron
Holy
and a
shit.
hulking man covered in scars remained. The man threw a barrage of powerful punches, but Angron absorbed them like they were nothing
Oh.
and stood unmoved like a rockcrete wall. Understanding that death was imminent, Angron's instincts took over. He punched the man in the stomach with unimaginable force and sent him into the acid.
Oh.
The crowd erupted into a deafening applause.
Sorry, not to pause. I thought he was gonna do like a fucking like scorpion, like fucking punch through the gut, spine rip, you know what I'm saying? But obviously a punch into the acid makes sense too. I thought just for like the spectacle, and then he's like, you know, fucking crowd goes crazy. That'd be fucking a way to do it, you know? Gain the appeal of the crowd, the masses right away, you know? You gotta get it in with the judges.
The crowd erupted into a deafening applause.
Behold, people of Deshea. For your coin and happiness, we have a victor. We present this boy who has won the devil's tears. My child, what do you call yourself?
Does he even know what his name is?
Although Angron was
Oh, wow.
rapidly understanding more and more of the words he was hearing, he was unable to speak, not sure how to form words himself.
Yeah, Primarch's punch is devastating. Yeah, spine rip would have been fucking sweet to see. Just a fucking, you know?
Angron, thou here, child of the mountain.
The crowd began cheering and screaming once again.
Ow.
In Angron's first trial, he stood victorious.
So obviously
He was soon to learn that this was only the beginning.
obviously by winning, in all seriousness, no, by winning this fucking this gladiator combat in such a way, obviously his name is now on everybody's mind. Everybody already knows who he is instantly, already as a young boy. I imagine, like, especially if you guys are telling me this is kind of like a more modern day Rome, if the cultures and the politics kind of reflect that in a sense, man, I can see how he would rise to prominence very, very quickly in a society such as this. Obviously, given his natural talents, you know what I'm saying? Natural in quotation marks, obviously, you know what I'm saying? There's really not a whole lot natural about him, being a Primarch, obviously, but goddamn, you know, I think that's a very interesting way to, you know, and he didn't even mean to, but to get everybody thinking about you already, you know?
Though he was soon to learn that this was only the beginning. After surviving the Devil's Tears, Angron was promptly brought to his new home. Each day, after the raucous, raving crowds
But not
filed
yet,
out of the
yeah.
arenas
I'm sure
and
he'll
the
get there.
ruthless
I'm sure we'll
executions
see
had
him there.
concluded, those that survived the fight were escorted by armored machines out of the pits and into the caves below the arenas.
Made the stream. Good to see you, Battle Chicken.
It was here that
Good
Angron
to see
would
you,
be
man.
kept with the other slaves, and where he would remain until he was summoned once again to combat.
Damn.
I didn't think you had it in you. You made the Falkir clan rich today.
Angron looked around the dimly lit cave.
But is he going to get
observing
any
the
of it?
others who were kept
Probably
captive.
not.
These people were battered and broken, both physically and mentally. A man with dried blood all over his body and dark purple bruises on his arms and face stood silently with his head against the wall. He looked at Angron, staring directly into his eyes.
You should get some rest, boy.
Physiology is
Angron looked
very
at the
different
slave
from
with
us.
an
Yeah.
uncomfortable gaze.
You're the boy from the mountains, you know?
Obviously, not to pause, but yeah, when we're talking about a Primarch, I don't know if at his stage, I'm assuming he must have a lot of the organ augmentation, like biological enhancement, that a Space Marine would have at this point. I'm assuming. Maybe that's incorrect, though. I don't know for certain. But at the very least, he obviously has the gene seed, the Primarch gene seed, at a minimum, which obviously enhances him quite a bit, from my understanding, even without any sort of augmentation at this point. Yeah, fucking must be a mad dog, like, simply. I imagine even, like, he can't be very old at this point. I'm guessing, like, gestation period, probably only a few years old, and he looks kind of like a teenager. At all stages, they're totally different. Yeah, that's right, yeah. So, I feel like they grow up with their own different physiology. Yes, okay. Because they're vat grown, if that's not incorrect, right? The Emperor vat grew them beforehand. They're not, like, initiated as, like, a Space Marine would be. Primarch has more organs? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Uncomfortable gaze.
You're the boy from the mountains, you know?
Yes.
I heard them up
He
there.
sounds like a fucking
Cheering and
40-year-old
screaming.
already, damn.
I always hear the crowd. But I never heard them so loud before.
Yeah.
The caves were shaking so hard we all thought it was an earthquake.
Where am I?
Damn.
I wouldn't worry about that. I'd worry
Is that
about
most a
the
year or
rest.
two old? Yeah.
If you're able to get
That's
to
what I
Shea
assumed.
and entranced on your first battle, then you're going to be spending a lot of time on the hot dust. Which means you need to rest.
Hot dust.
Close your eyes, boy.
The man heeded his own advice, closing his eyes and slumping back against the cave wall. Angron looked around at the others. Everyone was in some state of pain or discomfort. Some appeared to be having nightmares.
They have one
Their
gene
bodies
called the
shaking even though
God
they didn't
something.
seem to be conscious. Others simply stared at the ground, quietly talking to themselves, their inaudible muffles fading away under their breath.
Obviously, being a slave, especially a fucking gladiator slave, yeah, man, especially if you're not used to that type of life, you know, you weren't brought up in that, being made a slave later in life to go do this type of thing, absolutely would break you mentally. Like, there's no way not. You're just surrounded by literally people that want to kill you as a sport, you know what I'm saying? And people that don't value your life in any capacity. Obviously, that's kind of base standard for the Imperium when you think about it, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, yeah, that's why he's looking like he's looking 14 when he's like 6 months old. Yeah, that I assumed he's like a vat growing, and then he came out a little too early. I think they all did, right? That's the whole point. They came out all little uncooked, you know what I'm saying? But that is what it is.
It was never truly quiet down in the caves. Arena guards were always loudly moving about, rattling chains and yelling at the captives. Slaves would be shuffled in and out, whether they were being summoned to the pits or new prisoners had arrived. He closed his eyes, lost in his own thoughts, his mind racing throughout the night.
The Immortus gland, it's a gland that makes the Primarchs aegis when they reach
was dangerous
maturity.
to most men. Angron didn't yet know it, but he was not like most men.
So he's got, like, sorry, not to pause on that point, that's an interesting fact though. So he's got a couple years technically before he's reached maturity, because they've all came out of the they all came out of the vats, I guess, all a little too early, right? That's the whole point. They were taken away from the Emperor before his plan with them could be brought to fruition, right? Before they could be fully aged, and then he could utilize them, teach them on his own, and then they were sent to these planets, I guess, by an external force, let's say, you know. Is it for sure Chaos that did it, like some Chaos entity, or is it just left kind of open, like an external kind of force, you know? That's interesting to me.
And Angron didn't yet know it, but he was not like most men.
You, over there. You two, get up.
Yeah,
now.
okay.
3 armored machine guards stalked through the caves, rounded everyone up, and prodded them with a long, electric-tipped pole.
Damn.
Mountain boy, get up. You're going to the hot dust.
The selected gladiators were lined up and marched into a small anteroom. This room was completely empty, with the exception of a wooden table and some racks that held a variety of weapons. Those that were aware
Chaos
of what
did
was
it?
going
They
on
scattered them?
immediately
Yeah,
swarmed the
okay.
table, eager to get
That's
their
what I
hands on a
assumed.
rusted axe or a battle-worn knife. All that remained when Angron went to the
A
table
new lord,
was
it's a
helmet
woman named
with
Urda.
remnants from the last battle
Another
still
perpetual like
inside.
the Emperor. Oh.
Everybody, line up.
The 3 armored machines stood behind them, nudging them closer to a gigantic door. The door opened, and Angron was blinded momentarily as piercing sunlight poured into the room. They were pushed out onto the arena floor by the armored machines. The surface was covered in dust that would blow across the arena with each gust of wind. The hot dust.
Hot dust.
Who will survive?
Wow.
Place your wagers and choose your warrior wisely.
Unlike the Devil's Tears.
Very interesting. I just want to pause and take a look at that illustration right there. They literally built their like castle, their fucking place of like, maybe that's not their obviously their government building, but they literally built like a viewing castle outside of the arena. That's how much these people, you know, respect gladiators, I guess. Not respect, maybe that's the wrong word, but what's the word? Value gladiators, I guess, in a sense. They like the fucking combat. They like the sport of it, I suppose. Obviously, gladiator combat's fucking sick, but I guess if you're into that type of thing, yeah, to show how rich you are, you'd want a fucking castle back behind the crowds and the stands, you know what I'm saying? I think that's interesting to see. She was the mother of the Primarchs. The Urda thing was more or less reconned a few books later. Yeah, scattering was the result, yeah.
And choose your warrior wisely.
Unlike the Devil's Tears. There would
Angron
be
met
no
a
acid
terrible
flowing through the
fate,
arena,
yeah.
No jumping to platforms to survive. This contest was all about combat.
This is all about fighting, not survival necessarily.
The fighting
Survival
began
as well,
with
but-
gladiators swinging axes and spilling blood across the arena, working the crowd into a frenzy.
Oh,
Angron, Valkyr's dominance is on full display. The boy of the mountain continues to dominate.
damn.
Angron's first test on the hot dust was nothing short of mastery, fighting with the skill of a seasoned veteran. While only a boy, his physical strength was overwhelming.
Yeah.
His agility and speed unmatched by any of his opponents. Always knowing where to be, when to strike, and never leaving himself vulnerable to enemy attacks.
That's crazy.
After his first battle on the
So
hot
this
dust,
this fucker, again, you have to remember, Angron here at this point.
vulnerable
Let's
to
just
enemy
get
attacks.
an illustration of this boy. He's only like what, a year or two at most old at this point, that grown, and you see just what a physical specimen he is. He's outmatching these skilled gladiators years ahead of him. You know what I'm saying? Already at such a young age, only a few years into the galaxy. And then you obviously have to think his role, his importance in the things to come, what that's going to build up to. Man, this is already such an intriguing story because it's like we're getting like from start to finish here. You know what I'm saying? It's not like we're just viewing him in the Horus Heresy, for example, where like obviously some shit goes down with him. I know, but you know, we're seeing that build up, how he became what he is, and I find that so interesting. You know. And even back now, I guess, back then, we should say, he's just a fucking monster already, like instantly. It's like,
his
wow.
first battle on the hot dust, Angron was the last man standing. And in subsequent fights, he would be the last man standing over and over again.
Angron, Valkyr has conquered the gladiators. Angron has done it once again. He is the winner.
Wow.
Angron is unstoppable. Can anyone best the boy
Pretty
of the
broken as
mountain in
beans, yeah.
combat?
They grow super fast and strong. Yeah, bro, I can imagine, like, simply from this already, they found him and the kid literally had fucking bodies around him, dude. Like already, like adult Xenos, I don't even know what they were, people. I think they were just people, right? Like probably other people that had came to taking him or whatever, or come to take him or whatever. But it's like, god damn, he's already got like a kill count instantly, bro. He arrives on the planet, instantly bodies, you know? Like what like a harbinger in a sense, like a foreshadowing of things to come. I find that very interesting. They were
Weeks
Eldar?
turned into months, and months into years.
Wow, so he's just
And
slugging
Angron's
it out.
domination of the gladiator pits continued. By the time he had reached the age of 10 Terran years, he had grown to a massive size. Each time he stepped onto the hot dust, the crowd was stunned to see how large Angron had become.
Jesus.
He was the most revered warrior that had ever stepped foot on Nuceria, and the locals who came to watch named him the Lord of the Red Sands. The violence within
I believe those were Eldar that tried to stop what he was going to be. They foresaw that he would be a threat to them in the future.
Gladiators had a mutual respect for each other. They had true camaraderie. Being locked away in chains together, they understood each other's pain.
Oh.
They felt each other's suffering. As a prisoner to the High Riders, Angron forged many relationships with the other gladiators, but none of them were as significant as that with Onomaeus. Onomaeus was a veteran of the slave pits, having survived over a decade of combat trials and imprisonment. He wasn't quite the physical threat that Angron was, but he was incredibly strong and agile in his own right.
Wow.
And over time, he became a mentor and a father figure to Angron.
Well, that's good.
You did well out there, Angron.
Obviously, it's interesting to see not having a father figure, even Angron, right? Everybody kind of needs a mentor to grow up with. And you have some seasoned veteran of the pits, let's say, and he's willing to kind of take Angron under his wing and kind of like, obviously not teach him anything probably combat related, but at least like wisen him up, because he's still, even though he's huge, he's a full adult specimen at this point, fully matured. He's still probably not matured mentally in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I think that's always something good to have. Obviously, I don't know if this is the best mentor to have per se. We're gonna have to see how he does, obviously.
You did well out there, Angron.
Angron sat quietly with a blank expression.
I know what you're feeling. I'm tired too.
The new one that was out there with us today, his first time on the hot dust. I knew he wouldn't make it out alive. I saw everything go dark for him, and I wished it were me.
I don't believe that, Angron.
It's true, Onomaeus. He's free from it all now. No chains, no being made to fight suffering men, no more High Rider scum or being taunted by the damned maggot's eyes. He's free.
The only life Angron had ever known, one of pain, violence, and suffering, was starting to break him.
He's dead. That isn't freedom. Freedom is outside of these walls. The High Riders rule today. Will they rule tomorrow, or 1 year from now? No one knows.
That's true, and obviously this is before the Great Crusade, right? Which is another interesting fact here, because like the Primarchs aren't together. The Emperor hasn't really started things off yet, to the extent. So obviously they haven't come to this world yet. So it's still just ran in anarchy as far as the Imperium's concerned. Could be a lost world, could exist, could not. I'm sure they don't even really know necessarily until they go there and check it out, as we see a lot of the time. Obviously the Emperor has that foresight, but you know, I think that's very interesting. This is like pre-Crusade, you know?
Or 1 year from now. No one knows. We could see the other side of these walls one day.
Yeah.
Onomaeus was right. For as empty as he felt, Angron would not give up hope of finding freedom. The bond between the two only grew stronger, and they made easy work of anyone who faced them on the hot dust. They was such a formidable duo
So
that the High Riders decided one day to push them to their limits. After defeating a group of mutant beasts with heads that resembled an animal more than a human,
Jesus,
Angron and Onomaeus faced their gravest challenge yet.
Pre-Nails, Angron was the best of his brothers.
Angron and
That's right. Sorry, not to pause. That's an interesting detail. Yeah. Because he talks about the nails. Yeah. In Warrior Tears. Oh, what was it? Cry Havoc video. Yeah, I remember. I recall that now. That's an interesting. Yeah, okay. And he talked about his absolute fucking hatred that his sons, in quotation marks, would accept that. That's okay. And here he is in his young life fighting it out brutally. Brutally. Like he wants to be free. He wants to be free from this torment, this pain. You know, obviously being owned is obviously in its own right an awful thing to go through. Wow, you know. So in a sense, he saw his sons, his legion, basically succumb willingly to the same thing that he was forced to go through. That's interesting. That's a very interesting fact. Sorry to pause on that, but that's wow. Okay, that's very cool. Thank you for pointing that out there, Papa. That made me think there a little bit. Wow.
Human. Angron and Onomaeus faced their gravest challenge yet.
He was meant to be an empath.
People of Deshea, Angron and Onomaeus have survived their first battle today. Will they survive their second? This battle, I assure you, is not to be missed.
Angron had faced countless foes in this
Is his mentor gonna die here? It's gonna break him.
Tears, witches with psychic powers, monsters, but nothing he had battled before compared to what was next. As the arena doors opened, 2 metal cages were brought out into the dusty arena surface. And as soon as they laid eyes on their opponents, Onomaeus was immediately overcome with dread. 2 Ogren monstrosities, roughly the size of Angron himself, were slowly let out of their respective cages.
So I think that's interesting timing, I guess, especially after we saw those Ogren videos and just what they're capable of. Obviously able to take on Space Marines in melee combat, you know, pulverize them with their fucking fists alone, and they're usually not augmented in any way, or at least if they are, it doesn't need to be anything physical because of just how fucking powerful these guys are, you know. 2 Ogren is kind of crazy, you know. Obviously, with Angron there, he is definitely capable of taking them out. But for a human, just to face up against them, especially in melee combat, pretty much suicide, right? Like they know how that's gonna go, right? They're playing the crowd here. They know how that one's gonna go. Crowd odds, you know what I'm saying? It's like gambling in a fucking casino, pretty much. Paladin of the Primarchs, yeah. Angron and the World Eaters were meant to be the kind of paladin archetype for the legions. Interesting. So like suffering in the name of, kinda. Okay. They're as large as Angron himself. They're huge, yeah. Like they're physically bigger because Angron's not in his fucking armor at this point in time, right? He's fucking just a dude as far as anyone's concerned, right? Obviously a huge fucking dude. But he's not like power armored up or anything like that. So to an Ogren, yeah, they're probably very, very similar. If not even the Ogren might be bigger, to be honest. Angron's Primarch power was to have the ability to absorb others' pain unto himself. Fuck. That's pretty deep, man. Wow.
We overcome with dread. 2 Ogren monstrosities, roughly the size of Angron himself, were slowly let out of their respective cages.
Mama lies.
It wasn't their iron armor, or even their sheer size that terrified Onomaeus. They were both wearing a remissum, which indicated that they were too aggressive and unpredictable to be kept with the other slaves, as the remissum was only worn by those who had received implants known simply as the Butcher's Nails.
Oh, shit.
The little ones.
The fight commenced.
The Butcher's Nails, so obviously that's where that comes into play. That whole idea. Fuck, man. And the first encountering of it, maybe not the first encountering, but a major encounter of it, obviously. Ogren. Install it in Ogren, because make Ogren mad, make Ogren smash. That is obviously fucking a wretched idea, but it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? Fuck. That's brutal, you know?
Crush the little ones.
The fight commenced, and it was quite possibly the most fierce battle that had ever taken place in the arena. Both sides attacked each other with unprecedented strength, exchanging brutal and unforgiving assaults. And while this was the most challenging fight Angron had ever encountered, It was the first time that Angron wasn't fighting.
It's an
only for
augmentation that
himself.
drives them insane, yeah.
He was fighting for Armatura.
Like pain constantly, right?
Many times throughout the 17-minute brawl, Angron sacrificed a wide-open attack on the Ogrins to prevent
Their mom, which is a
Armatura from
character in the
suffering a
last
fatal
books.
blow. In the end, Angron's strength and skill in battle proved to be too much, as the skirmish was punctuated with one final swing of Angron's axe, decapitating the last remaining Ogrin.
Oh.
Angron the Unbeaten and Armatura the Bear of Walsham have done it again. What a magnificent performance. Now, for their final test.
Final
The
test?
most treacherous
There's another
match
test
yet.
after this?
In a fight to the death, Angron versus Armatura.
Of course, like we didn't see that one
Violence was all
coming.
that Angron had ever known. From the moment he emerged from the warp, surrounded by Xenos who wanted him dead, to the very moment where he stood in the arena, set to face off against the only father he had ever known. His entire life had been one of savagery, but this was too
What
far
if they
for Angron.
refuse?
No.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. This is not a request, Angron. You and Armatura are to fight to the death. There is not an alternative option.
Armatura, understanding that nothing good would come from Angron's refusal, pleaded with him. But Angron was resolute.
Yeah, like, so, exactly, like, this is the whole logic of, like, the Hunger Games, right? Like, at the end of the first Hunger Games, they can't, you know, get us to fight to the death, fuck it, let's just kill it, you know, I'm not gonna say it, but let's just do it, you know what I'm saying? What happens if we say no? We're already slaves, they're already forcing us to fight to the death anyway, what are they gonna do to us? What's worse than this? They're gonna torture us, they're gonna kill us? Dude, we're already in here killing each other, fighting to the death. What happens if you just say no, if you just refuse it? You know what I'm saying? That's like, yeah, just say no. You know what I'm saying? If they want to come and take you, fuck it. You want to see a spectacle? We'll take on the guards. How about that? That come to detain us. That'll be a spectacle and a half. Send more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, fuck them, you know?
When Armatura are to fight to the death, there is not an alternative option.
Armatura, understanding that nothing good would come from Angron's refusal, pleaded with him. But Angron was resolute. Armatura was like a father to him, and he would not take part in his execution. The crowd suddenly burst into laughter, humiliating the High Riders in the process.
Refusing the orders of the Highborn, are we? Well, Angron Thalkir, we have a way of handling this behavior. People of Deshaya, how shall we deal with this insubordination?
And in
Only
that
one may
moment,
remain standing.
a chant from the crowd ensued. One word that would change the fate of Angron forever.
Nails. Wow. No way did he just let himself get captured, bro. You gotta at least take some bodies with you when they come to grab you.
In stark contrast to when he was
Like,
being
die
pulled out
fighting.
of the
You know what I'm
cave.
saying? Literally die fighting. Again, if they want to see a spectacle, die fighting. Fucking just go down, take as many as you can down with them. If they want a fucking show, give them a show. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I can't believe he would. I'm hoping that at least that's what happened. Maybe it's just not explained. Maybe it's not shown. But I hope he didn't just succumb to that himself, like, personally. Damn. Ah. They flooded the arena
In
with
stark
gas to knock
contrast
him
when
out.
He was
Fuck.
being pulled out of the caves. He was heavily sedated.
Of course they
now,
would.
and the
It was an
surgery
open
could
air
proceed
arena
as
though.
planned.
How'd they do that? That doesn't make sense. That was an open
One can
open air
assume
arena.
that if Angron knew what the technomancers were about to
God
do
damn
to
it.
him, and how it would shape his future,
Oh
that he would
man.
have swallowed his pride and killed Armatura on the hot dust.
Ah.
But there was no turning back now. The origins of the Butcher's Nails are a mystery. Dating back to the dark age of technology, these cybernetic implants are a technical marvel. Some view the Butcher's Nails as a mortal curse. Others see them as indispensable enhancements.
He was sedated.
Regardless of perspective, the nails are incredibly effective. Empathy, morality, joy, love, Any emotion that is not anger is pushed aside, degrading over time until it eventually withers away completely.
Oh, these noises are brutal.
Angron was suddenly jolted from his sedated state.
Something in my
His
eye,
eyes
Jesus.
opened so wide that he felt like they might bulge out of his head. Split-second flashes of colors and long dormant memories perplexed him.
These are Xeno's corpses.
Xenos
He
corpses.
had never experienced a sensation like this. An evanescent chill ran through his body before it suddenly changed course, and his blood began to boil.
The pain in my head is unbearable. Why are you looking at me like this? You people are monsters. Why is it so hot in here? Why are these lights so bright? What did I do to deserve all of this?
Look at the size of it.
The High Riders are going to bleed for what they have done to me.
My fair people.
And to be fair, why would his anger be turned to anything else other than the High Riders, other to the noble families who have done this to him, right? You got to think this is a slave who has been a slave all of his life, essentially, right? At least as far as he can remember. Why would he? Yeah, like the idea is to make him angry at his competitors, make him a better gladiator. But goddamn, why would, Oh, that was a miscalculation, I think, by them. Goddamn, dude, that's brutal though to see him fucking go through that. What did he do to deserve this? He's asking himself that. That's fucked.
To me.
My fair people.
It's one of the more
of the
criticized
Shea,
plot points of Aegon's story, the whole sedation thing. Wow, okay.
Legendary battle that you have been
I picked up on that pretty quick, I won't lie.
Angron and Armatura will battle to the death.
It was an honor, Angron, to battle alongside you for so many years.
Wow. Goddamn.
Angron nearly killed Armatura with the first punch that connected.
Jesus.
And in the first instance of many more to come, Angron was lost to the nails. The pain he was inflicting upon Armatura and the blood that was staining the sands red were the only things soothing the pulsing pain from the nails. His vision went dark, and all he could hear was the earth-shaking roar of the crowd chanting his name.
So that's like the most stimulation you get, and you just remember at the end of it the crowd chanting your name. That's a very interesting
When he
indoctrination
came out of the
method.
coma-like state
to
he
keep
was
you
in
fighting.
from the nails,
Yeah.
he was somewhere completely different. Gone was the hot dust and the screaming Deshayans in the crowd. Angron now found himself in a dark cell, his hands and ankles chained to the cave wall. His memory was fragmented, with everything after his refusal.
I don't know,
to
man.
fight
Just roll with
being
it.
blurred. The butcher's nails throbbed inside of Angron's head so badly that it almost drowned out the conversation from the arena guards down the hall.
This began as fall to chaos, yeah.
I made more coin off that one fight than I've made from the past 3 years of work.
Gloat some more, why don't you? We're all dying to hear it.
As you wish.
There's no way you voted against Angron. First off, this arena guard, Matthew, you did not lose money voting against Angron. Surely, bro. Surely you did not take that house fucking deal. Oh yeah, there's a 1% chance that you're ultra rich for the rest of your life. Surely you didn't take that. You didn't get honey potted into that, right? Like, come now.
Some more, why
Did it to
don't
himself
ya?
if he
We're all
lost that
dying
one.
to hear it.
As you wish. Is someone disappointed that they wagered on the wrong route?
Yeah.
What?
Get a good laugh. I'll admit it.
Yeah, we're all laughing at
expected
you,
more
I
of a
think.
fight than that. And if Angron would have lost, I would have been twice as rich as you right now.
Yeah, except
You didn't really think that old man was going to survive, did you? I don't think the fight had even gone 20 seconds.
should have bet on Angron.
before
Exactly. Why would you
Angron
not bet
came
on
headed.
Angron?
And it was at this moment when reality came crashing down
Wow.
onto Angron.
So he overheard this.
The only father he had ever known was dead. And he was the one who had killed him.
Wow.
For the first time in his life, he began openly weeping. His cries were so powerful that the cave walls began to violently shake.
Wow.
He sobbed uninterrupted for 3 days, and when he finally stopped, only one singular thought remained. Vengeance. Angron vowed that he would escape from his chains and make the High Riders pay for the death of Oenomaus. Angron spent the next number of years teaching the gladiators in the pits how to fight. The bond between Angron and the remaining slaves grew so strong that he began to look at them as his brothers and sisters.
Oh. Pause real quick. Is this where he gets his first Space Marine initiates? Is this kind of where they come from? I'm wondering. His brothers that he starts to see amongst these fellow slave fighters, you know, these pit fighters. That's very, very... Oh. And that kind of makes sense why, like, the first ones would see him and want to have the nails installed because they see his power. Wow.
Remaining slaves grew so strong.
Angron would have made mincemeat out of the guts in his peak Primarch form.
Angron
Yeah.
wasn't only teaching them to fight, he was also plotting their escape. And on one momentous day,
Bad part about
Angron and his gladiators
Angron's nails is that
put their plan into action.
Oh, so it caused him to slowly die. Damn.
100 gladiators of Deshea, prepared for battle. How many will survive?
You'll see. You'll see. Okay.
And enjoy the festivities.
This is it, Jakura. The day has finally come.
I'm ready, Angron. We all are.
As soon as the horn blared, the gladiators began their escape. The Deshanes were in attendance to see Angron Thalkir slaughter his opponents. But to their complete and utter
Yeah,
horror,
they're gonna turn on
they
him.
bore witness to a far more chilling event. The slaves in the pits hoisted each other up into the crowd,
Wow.
allowing them to scale the barriers and run freely through the aisles of tiered seats.
They'd never
Angron
tried
and
this
his
before.
brothers and sisters were revolting, and the members of the crowd were their first targets.
Wow.
As they began attacking the retreating civilians, the rest of the crowd was completely enveloped in fear. They ran as fast as they could, screaming at the top of their lungs. The Nucerian
Mine's in the right
King
place.
Guard attempted to
They already
regain
had
control,
nails.
and the
Oh,
gladiators
okay.
in the stands were met with a barrage of gunfire. But it was too late. The evading Deshaeans running for their lives created a stampede, and many of the King Guards were trampled. While the gladiators
Mass
in the crowd
panic.
continued sowing chaos and butchering all who stood in their way, Angron and those who stayed in the pit forced their way back into the caves and freed the remaining prisoners. Armored guards rushed down to the caves to stop the revolt, firing laser weapons and rifles. But Angron, overcome by the thumping of the butcher's nails, unleashed his fury on them.
Wow.
Within the arena and the caves below it, the ground was littered with the bodies of the dead and injured. Angron and his warriors spilled out into the streets of Deshea and waged war against any of the High Riders that were foolish enough to stay and fight. With sticks, rocks, and anything else they could muster, they viciously attacked those who had enslaved them for so many years.
Yeah, wow.
They butchered the High Riders, collecting their skulls and leaving their corpses in the streets.
Damn.
These gladiators
statement.
razed the cities of Nuceria
Oh.
and set fire to the rubble that remained. In one Nucerian day, 31 Terran hours, the gladiators faced their well-equipped and heavily armed slavers head-on. And won.
Wow.
They were no longer malnourished, defenseless prisoners. They were the eaters of cities.
That's an interesting way to put it, and especially where they come from. So literally revolted, started killing the civilians in the crowd, started burning, razing cities to the ground, and instantly in 31 hours, I believe they said, won the initiative and technically won the planet over like that. Wow. And especially if this was like on their capital, the head of their administration. Now they're all armed. They have weapons. They actually have firearms. Wow. Can definitely see where they, you know, where they came from there, like how they get their lineage, where, you know, especially like from, again, Cry Havoc. I'm going to reference that because that's a great example of the word usage that we do have. world eaters that we do have, I should say, it makes a lot more sense what he was saying, what Angron was saying at the time, you know? Like, it adds a lot of context, seeing all this, is what I'm gonna say. Only one city left.
By the time the harsh winter arrived, the gladiators had suffered significant casualties from the relentless High Riders. The Eaters of Cities were forced to retreat to the treacherous mountains of Deshea. When they had first escaped, there were thousands of gladiators who were eager to set fire to Nysaria. Over time, attacks from the Kinguard and the unforgiving conditions
so they didn't
of the
win the
Deshea
planet, they won a major
reduced their
battle.
numbers to hundreds.
I see. Okay.
And by the time they arrived in the cave that they now called home, only 56 remained.
This reminds me a lot of the historical event, the Spartacus rebellions. It's a lot of the vibes I'm getting, obviously with the Roman influence on the planet. That's, you know, I think a comparison that a lot of people could maybe see. If you haven't checked out the historical Spartacus rebellions, go check that out. Very interesting. Mass slave revolts all across Rome at the time. Very, very similar in a sense, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting very, very like large Spartacus vibes from this.
They arrived in the cave that they now called home. Only 56 remained.
We won't be able to stay here forever. You know this. They're going to find us eventually. And when they do...
You think they can defeat us?
There's 56 of you, yes,
Angron
probably.
and his Eaters of Cities were free from the chains of the High Riders, but their situation was no less precarious. The freezing temperatures and lack of food proved to be a detriment to all of them. Angron had not eaten in weeks, saving any source of nourishment for his
Mountain arc,
brothers and
it's short, but
sisters.
probably the most important one.
No. But this mountain is slowly killing us, Chakura.
Angron spoke through gritted teeth and the pain of the butcher's nails.
I've been seeing more High Rider
It's very much inspired by Rome. Yeah, it feels like it for sure.
Until they find us.
Even the idea, like, it's interesting, very inspired by Rome too. I'm gonna make this comparison. Maybe it's a completely left field comparison. The butcher's nails. Obviously, you know, what was Jesus crucified? He was crucified with nails, right? And stigmata in a sense, right? And the comparison there, and you guys are saying there's a big comparison to the Templars there as well, I believe. Or, you know, in a sense like that. You can very much see like the sacrificing yourself kind of aspect, you know. Maybe these are completely wrong comparisons to make. It's just the vibes I'm kind of getting right now, you know what I'm saying? It's the comparisons I'm kind of making in my head at the moment.
Searching the area. It won't be long until they find us. If we die fighting the High Riders, so be it. I would rather die fighting alongside you all than to slowly wither away on this mountain. Rest now. And if we have to face our last stand when the sun rises, that's what we'll do.
Evil Rome, yeah.
As the sun appeared over the horizon the next morning, Angron and his Eaters of Cities stood at the edge of the cave.
I can hear them coming, Angron.
Good. Let's make them pay for what they did to us.
The sound of the High Riders approaching was getting louder with each passing moment, and when they finally came within view, the nails in Angron's head pounded like war drums.
It's rather cold up here, Angron. Why don't you come back to where you belong? We don't take any of this personally. I can assure you.
What the fuck?
If you return to your rightful place, you have our word that we will forget any of this ever happened.
That's not true.
The High Riders were adorned in ridiculous outfits, wearing expensive furs and exotic animal skins. But it was the man's voice that drew Angron's ire. The maggot's eye. This was the voice that had haunted him for years. The voice that flew overhead and goaded him and the other gladiators.
Never. We will never go back.
You're acting like a child, Angron. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be.
This is the guy that's been voicing the arena.
Why are they talking to us? There's so many of them.
Looking down at the hundreds of Kinguards surrounding the Eaters of Cities, everything began to make sense in Angron's head. They didn't want to kill Angron. They needed him alive. The wealthy and technologically advanced High Riders had rebounded from the Eaters of Cities' attack. But without their standout warrior in the arena to fight, the Deshayan populace was no longer engrossed by the arena battles.
Nobody cared.
And there was nothing more dangerous to the High Riders than the Deshayan people focusing on their own poverty.
Yeah, don't want that. The poor focusing on being poor.
You'll have to take me with your bare hands.
Well then, you've given us no other option. Just remember that this was your choice, Angron.
Your choice. That's bull. Wow.
The High Riders opened fire on the Eaters of Cities, and 20 of them died in an instant. Angron watched his brothers fall by his side, being overpowered by the deadly Nucerian weaponry. He had his eyes fixated on the man who barked orders through the maggot's eyes. He launched himself at him and ripped him in two.
Damn.
Angron was unhinged.
Went clean through him.
Ready to throw himself at every last High Rider that dared to face him, when he was suddenly taken back by a blinding flash of light.
Hey, big shout out to you, Captain K. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, man. Welcome our very new Hastati, Captain K. Big shout out to you, buddy. Appreciate that, man.
The psychic energy from the Emperor caused torment in Angron's head.
Wow. So I just want to state, so he's getting a vision of the Emperor, suddenly taken aback by a blind flashing light. Holy shit.
Suddenly taken back by a blinding flash of light.
So is this the Emperor directly speaking to him?
Appeared.
Oh. Wow.
Angron was frozen in place, unable to move. The psychic energy from the Emperor caused torment in Angron's head.
Oh.
I'm not leaving this mountain. I'm not leaving my brothers here to die.
Oh. You don't have a choice. You are needing the stars to fulfill your true destiny. I just want to say, very interesting, and I've heard of the idea of spite before from Angron for this exact reason. I recall this, yeah. He got taken away from his soldiers, the very few that were left that he was planning to die alongside. He never asked, he never knew anything about the Emperor, anything about the greater plan for the galaxy. He had no idea about any of that. Suddenly, this blinding flash of light, the Emperor of Man himself has come to reclaim his son. And he doesn't want to leave. He doesn't know who this guy is. He doesn't want anything about him, you know? Very interesting. Wow. Emperor of Mankind here. Time to pull a pro gamer move called Let's Ball. Let's bail. Yeah. Let's ball and let's bail. Yeah, dude. That's so true. He literally just grabbed them and dipped. Hey, we're out. What the fuck? You can start to feel the Emperor trying to talk to him. This is the Emperor who just teleported him aboard his flagship. Okay. Wow. So he just zaps him aboard. Beam me aboard, Scotty. It's like, what?
Angron hit the ground violently, shattering the tiles beneath him. He opened his eyes and struggled to understand.
Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
His battle brothers were gone, as were the High Riders. More curiously, he was no longer on the snow-covered Deshayan mountaintop. His eyes darted around the room, taking in the luxurious art pieces hanging on the walls and the warriors in golden armor towering over him as he struggled to his feet.
Okay, wow.
As one of the warriors approached, Angron ripped the spear from his hand and impaled him with his own weapon.
Well, I'm just going to pause there. A lot of people criticize Angron for not growing in any way, but that's the tragedy of him. He never had a chance. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm seeing here. Again, he planned to die on the field of battle with his brothers there. And the fact that he just totally got, I guess his purpose in a sense just ripped from him there. That's so fucking, that's brutal, you know what I mean? Because now he's totally going to feel like he abandoned them when he really had no say in the matter at all. Damn, man. Wow.
Over him as he struggled to his feet. As one of the warriors approached,
He refused to save Angron's allies as they are nothing. Yeah, you wouldn't consider them as anything.
Before he could move to neutralize the other Golden Warriors,
wow.
He was dazed by another flash of light.
He instantly took out a Custodes. Oh.
No! My brothers are dying. I cannot abandon them.
Your destiny is not on Nusira, my son. You must fulfill your duty as a Primarch and take command of the 12th Legion. Damn.
You don't choose my destiny. Let me out of this place.
So he feels like a slave again. I see. Yeah.
Nor do I care. I need to stand and fight on Nuceria.
In one final flash of light, Angron opened his eyes and was suddenly somewhere completely different.
He's just getting beamed around, teleported around. Fuck.
He was all alone. He was surrounded by dark, stone walls and massive blue and white banners. Angron didn't know where he was, but he knew it wasn't where he was supposed to be.
No.
He should be fighting with his brothers and sisters on the Cellectra Ridge. Everything happened so fast that his brain couldn't comprehend it.
Yeah, this isn't like the span of
nails
seconds.
Hammered away in pain as he tried to make sense of it all.
Fuck, that would be so disorientating.
Who was this Emperor, and what was this place that he had taken him to? As his mind raced and his emotions washed over him, a door at the top of a staircase opened. Light poured into the room and the silhouette of a man walked in.
What's worse is that Angron begged the Emperor to save his friends and family. Yeah, I imagine, and like, he just didn't. And it would have been nothing for the Emperor to do that either. That's the thing. Like, it would have been literally nothing else to teleport his boys out of there, and he would not have this fucking... I'm assuming it's an unending sense of guilt for just, like, in what his mind is, leaving them, you know? That's so rough, dude.
As his mind raced and his emotions washed over him, a door at the top of a staircase opened.
I died down there with my brothers and sisters, freezing, starving, and free.
Closing the door behind him.
Emperor, no creators at all. You will get...
My lord. My Primarch.
Yeah. I can totally see how he feels enslaved again.
I must admit, I feared this day might never come.
Gear slowly descended the stairs, approaching Angron as he spoke.
We have traveled the stars for many, many years, anticipating your arrival.
As Gear continued his slow march towards his Primarch, Angron began to rise to his feet.
I have acted as the Legion commander in your absence, sire. But you are here now.
Wow.
And your Legion stands before you.
So, and then he also has, and again, sorry to keep pausing, but then he also has this sense of, he's got this Legion that's loyal to him. He has no idea why. He's done nothing to gain the respect of these people. Why should they be loyal to him, right? Versus back on his home planet in Syria, he fucking had reason for these people to be loyal to him, and for him to be loyal to these people. They endured so much together, and for them to just be brushed aside, like, you can totally see where spite starts to set in there. Emperor replies with no emotions, then a ghost will have to suffice, but forcibly teleporting Angron to the Warhound's ship. Yeah. Fuck.
Now, and your Legion stands before you.
Angron stared at Gear, clenching his jaw like an iron grip.
Yeah, you'd be like, what the fuck?
We will honor you, my lord. We are here to serve you.
Serve me?
Yes, my lord. We are here to serve you. In the name of the Emperor.
As Gear muttered those fateful words, Angron's blood boiled. The nails pummeled away in his head, and Angron snarled at Gear as he looked down at him.
In the name of the Emperor?
Yeah, and the Emperor made a very poor choice, like making this guy. Respectfully to Angron, of course, but Angron has so much reason to be vindictive here. He's got so much reason to fucking hate the Emperor in this case. Like, I get you want your son, you want what's best for him and all that, but like, holy shit, like, you can totally see how this is going to instantly backfire, bro. Like, what the fuck, you know? The seeds of chaos planted by the Emperor himself. Exactly, literally. Also, you know me, I love seeing the ships. Battlefleet Gothic Armada was so fucking sick. We gotta play more of that sometime. Wow.
The Warhound's captain of the 8th Assault Company approached the door to the hall where Angron remained. In an act of rage that left the entire Warhound's Legion baffled, Angron had executed Gear shortly after he entered the hall. At least 6
Holy
other
shit.
Warhounds met the same fate as Gear after they reluctantly followed their former Legion commander. Karn stood outside of the door and quietly spoke to himself under his breath.
My Primarch, I assure you that we mean no disrespect or harm. In the name of the Emperor, if you would be willing to listen to what I have to say to you.
Stop saying, in the name of the Emperor.
At your command.
Yes, and I command you to fuck right off is basically what he's telling you. He doesn't want you. He's got nothing to do with you people. Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see where he's coming from in this sense. It's not hard to see, knowing this now, just how it ends up. That's brutal, man. Wow. The Emperor is supposed to be, like, again, Foresight's a bitch, but, like, bro, how do you not foresee this coming? When, in all your great wisdom, how do you not foresee this coming, you know?
I have to say to you, we are your Legion. We are at your command.
Wouldn't it be really funny if I just teleported him out of there? Yeah, he's, like, still in battle, and you're here. Like, what? You'd be like, what the fuck?
It was so dark
for him, this is minutes that have
passed,
passed,
you know? Difficulties adjusting. Even through the darkness, it was obvious that his Primarch had left the hall in shambles. The smell of blood was overpowering, and nearly every light in the room had been broken or ripped out of the wall.
My Primarch, I assure you.
Another warrior that enters the arena with no weapon.
Interesting.
Babbling nonsense.
Literally.
Is this how all of you prepare to fight?
Karn couldn't see the Primarch, but he bellowed so loudly that he could hear him perfectly.
Because he just wants, and again, he confided in his mentor that he wanted death to befit him in the arena, right? He wanted out. He was tired of being a slave, and that's totally what he is. I'm sorry to keep pausing, guys, but wow, this is just so interesting. It's a very compelling story. Wow, because he's totally enslaved now. He's totally back in it, but in a totally different way. Yeah, he's got this great unfounded power now. He's got this Legion backing him, his Legion behind him. He didn't ask for any of it. He simply wanted to make his own destiny, carve his own destiny, have his own life. And it simply got taken from him just as he was getting free. Just as he made the decision to be free, finally, it got taken from him instantly. Yeah. You can totally see where this resentment comes from.
To fight? No, my lord, I am not here to fight. In the name of the Emperor.
No!
Literally, yeah.
The Emperor killed my brothers and sisters down there. Refuses to show himself to me.
My Primarch, I don't...
Why? Why are you all like this?
Yeah, wow.
Talking about this paper skin Emperor.
Wow. That's awesome.
Get to your feet.
That's actually awesome.
Me now.
Sire, I am not here to harm you.
This paper skin Emperor.
Leader, our honorable leader. We are your warriors.
No. None of you are warriors. Warriors don't walk onto the hot dust without a weapon. Speaking softly.
And he still thinks he's back there too. Like his mind's totally fucking broken right now.
My warriors are dead now.
Yeah.
I should have died with them on the mountain. But this Emperor took me from my warriors. Why do you call yourself warriors if you enter the hot dust and refuse to fight?
That's what he did.
Karn stumbled to his feet and attempted to catch his breath as he collected himself.
My apologies, sire. I do not know what you speak of. This hot dust. Nor do I know of your battle on the mountain.
Yeah, that's exactly what makes it so tragic. Yeah.
My brothers and I. We have waited for many years for your arrival. You are our Primarch. Our leader.
What are you saying? What is this Primarch?
Yeah, he doesn't, and you're speaking vocabulary to him he doesn't understand. The Emperor literally just brought him to the Legion, was like, yeah, here he is. Have fun with him. It's like, bro, he doesn't even know what the fuck you're talking about. He doesn't even know what Primarch means, bro. Like, what the fuck? Like, how could you expect this to be anything else? Yeah, the Emperor literally grabbed Angron, then left him with his Legion. Yeah, what the fuck? Like, how does that work? How does that work?
What are you saying? What is this, Primarch? Why are you wasting my time?
I'm sorry, sire. A Primarch leads a legion of warriors. You are a Primarch. You are one of the sons of the Emperor.
What did you say to me? I am no son of any Emperor. The only father I ever knew, Onomaeus, died on Deshaia.
A wave of emotion washed over Angron with the thought of Onomaeus.
Wow.
Karn was having difficulties breathing, and could feel at least one broken bone in his leg. He was taken aback by Angron's complete lack of knowledge. He pondered whether he was truly unaware of who he was, or whether this was a ruse.
What I am saying to you, sire, as a Primarch, you are our leader. You were chosen to lead us.
I choose nothing. I did not choose to lead any of you.
Wow.
I was taken away from those that I chose to lead.
Yeah.
I understand. As your warriors, your servants, we do fight when necessary, but we will never fight you. We will fight for you. We fight the enemies of our
No.
The enemies of our legion, tyrants, Xenos.
Xenos.
Yes, aliens, impure creatures. Anyone that threatens humanity, the enemies of you, our Primarch.
Wow.
Angron stood quietly, pausing before he spoke again.
And so he straight up just tells him, yeah, we're here to fight any of your enemies, you know? Because they're gonna literally get killed if they say the Emperor. Oh, you're here to fight any of my enemies. Well, I can think of one right now, someone that I really fucking hate, you know what I'm saying? Bro, like, what? How did this not get foreseen? Karn just repeats the same thing. Well, he has to, bro. He has to say the same thing. That's the party line. He's got to tote it. It just got toted by 6 other dudes that got rolled in there, toted the same thing, got beaten to death by Angron. He's got to say the exact same thing. He's not allowed to say anything else. That's the Emperor's line, you know? Like, you know, they're not going in there with the expectation that they're Primarch, the thing that they've been raised from fucking birth to be the Emperor's child, like to be their leader. They're not expecting them to, or expecting Angron to just fucking, to kill them on sight for saying the Emperor's name. Like, you know what I'm saying? Holy shit. Like, that's insane, you know? Karn here is just doing his job. He's just being a real one, you know? That's all I'm saying. Like, can't blame a man, you know, but fuck.
Angron stood quietly, pausing before he spoke again.
What is your name?
My name is Karn.
Karn.
Where are we right now, Karn?
We are in your triumph hall, sire.
If only Karn killed a certain person.
The Warhound ship. Your ship. We constructed this room upon learning of your impending arrival.
If we leave this room, if we walk through that door, what will happen?
You will be saluted by warriors, more like me, who are ready to serve you as you see fit. Warhound's legionnaires who will fight and die for you if need be.
Angron said nothing. He looked at Karn and extended his hand to help him up from the ground.
Wow.
They walked up the stairs together and through the door into the flagship's corridor. The hall outside of the chamber was lined with the Warhound Astartes. They stood neatly in order, a look of stunned shock on their faces as they stared intently at their Primarch.
Warhounds! Our Primarch has arrived.
He's saying through gritted teeth in agony, these arrived!
Like his brothers and sisters, the Eaters of Cities, in the mountains of Deshaia. He is our commander, the leader of the Warhounds.
All of the Warhounds saluted Angron at once, placing a fist over their chest. Angron looked around slowly, taking in the sight of the lines of Astartes standing before him.
Sire, as your warriors, we will not be eaters of cities. We will be the eaters of worlds.
Wow.
Angron stared directly into Draeger's eyes, and a smile slowly formed at the edges of his mouth.
World Eaters.
That's where they get the name from?
Yes.
Wow.
You will be World Eaters.
Wow. So did he really just think it was all a ruse? They were just pulling his leg. Wow. That was pretty sick, I won't lie. That's how you get their name, the World Eaters. We won't be eaters of cities, eaters of worlds.
Remaining legions without a Primarch. They watched with silent envy as the other Primarchs slowly began to surface, witnessing firsthand how the legions changed for the better as their respective gene fathers appeared. And then, the day finally came. After decades of waiting, their Primarch had arrived. The excitement was palpable. At last, their true commander was there to lead them, to shape their legion
on a monumental
into one in
day.
his own image. The story of Angron being the only Primarch who had refused the order of the Emperor quickly spread.
Wow.
Knowing that Angron would rather have died with his army than join the Emperor's crusade only added to the Warhound's enthusiasm. What Primarch could better understand true brotherhood than the one who rejected the Emperor to stand with his brothers?
Wow.
Even after the death of
So that's how they saw it.
The Warhounds were euphoric in their excitement and completely devoted to serving their gene father. Angron, on the other hand, was feeling much different than his new sons and struggled to accept his role of serving the Emperor. He quickly became acquainted with his legion and life outside of Nuceria. No longer was he leading a group of ravenous, ailing gladiators who were armed with only sticks and rocks. The meticulously trained, genetically enhanced Astartes of the World Eaters were killing machines on a level that Angron could have never imagined.
Yeah, you'd be so like shell-shocked seeing all this.
Deployed to conquer worlds that were lost during Old Night.
Again, being like so used to like gladiatorial combat, using sticks and stones, swords to kill your enemy, and then being transported into a fucking a spaceship, you know? That would break your mind, you know? If you're not used to that sort of thing, you don't even know any of that exists, that would shatter your mind. Your entire perception of reality would fucking shake right there, you know? God damn.
Killing machines that the Emperor had deployed to conquer worlds that were lost during Old Night. Karn had introduced Angron to the campaign of liberation known as the Great Crusade, and found himself toiling to overcome Angron's hesitancy to participate.
And he wants no part in this crusade. Wow.
Again with this compliance talk.
Is there a problem with the audio for anyone else? Is there a problem with the audio? No problem? Yeah, sorry about that, Splendid. Looks like that's not on me. I apologize for that.
I don't understand it. I don't care about it. I don't know why you insist on living as a slave.
Wow.
Sire, I feel as if there is a misunderstanding. We embark on campaigns to bring worlds into compliance with the Imperial truth. Worlds where Xenos dwell, creatures from the warp. Worlds where humans have been led astray and have not accepted the rule of the Imperium.
Rule of the Imperium. This Emperor is just another High Rider.
Wow.
Keeping humanity in shackles unless they comply with his word. I want nothing to do with this.
Just reset YouTube and it's better now?
Sire, I believe you are mistaken. Compliance campaigns don't enslave worlds, they free them. Bringing a world into the Imperium doesn't keep people in shackles, it breaks them.
And what if a world refuses to join the Imperium?
Then we take the necessary actions to ensure they comply.
Wow.
Why are you speaking in riddles, Khan? Tell me of these necessary actions.
He's like, but what does that really mean?
We assault those who reject the Imperium,
there it is.
Sire. We strike the planet, attacking it from our ships. We invade the planet and engage in battle on the ground. Oftentimes, worlds willingly join the Imperium, and there is no need to strike. But this is not always the case.
The nails were pounding in Angron's head. The thought of doing anything to support the Emperor was an idea that Angron loathed. But he was suffering from the relentless agony brought on by the butcher's nails. And
So again, very interesting. Yeah, everything that has to do with the Emperor, he literally wants no part of it at all. He doesn't give a shit. He sees this, you know, as not having a choice. He sees this imperial truth as the Emperor's truth, not as anyone else's. And he's the first to really just go out and fucking say that, to be completely real with you. So you really have to respect him, man. Like, that's... Yeah, imperial truth kind of sucks ass. Yeah, a little bit, eh? It's not really much imperial truth. Because, like, again, he's just simply questioning, oh yeah, we have to bring them into the imperial truth. What does that mean? Oh, well, we make sure they comply. Yeah, but what does that actually mean? Stop speaking in riddles, you know? You fucking went in deep on that one there. Goddamn.
Started to think of the bloodshed that the Emperor's compliance would bring. Bloodshed that could soothe the pain from the nails.
Tell me, Khan, how long are these compliance campaigns?
Years.
A campaign continues until the world willingly joins, or until it is completely liberated. The length of time differs in each campaign.
Yeah.
Angron paused for a long moment before he replied to Khan.
31 hours.
I'm sorry, sire?
31 hours was all we needed in Deshea to defeat the High Riders. No explosives, no bolters, no ship bombardments. We fought with rocks. We fought with our bare hands. The World Eaters will have 31 hours to bring a world to compliance.
Wow.
Angron, what you accomplished on New Syria is remarkable, but I'm not sure 31 hours is enough time to take an entire world. Some worlds, perhaps, but others...
If tens of thousands of warriors such as you,
he doesn't respect
with
them at all.
Weaponry and armor cannot take a world in 31 hours.
What use are you?
Then they don't deserve to stand on the battlefield.
Yeah, wow.
No excuses. If I am to lead them, there will be no other way.
By your word, Angron.
And so began the rebirth of the Warhounds, re-emerging under Angron's leadership as the World Eaters.
Wow.
The Legion's participation in the Great Crusade...
Their armor scheme does look sick, I'll be honest. Like pre-heresy. I do like their armor scheme a lot.
Carried on, this word took on an entirely new meaning. Compliance.
Wow.
A compliance campaign now meant killing every last soul on the world that was being invaded.
Holy shit.
In less than 31 hours.
Oh my god.
If this was not completed, Angron would enforce a new mandate. Decimation.
Wow. Another Roman-themed thing. This is why one chapter of World Eaters had 5,000 members instead of 1,000.
And failure to meet Angron's standard did just that. Each time the World Eaters failed to take a world within 31 hours, 1 out of every 10 in the Legion was to be killed.
Wow. Another Roman tactic, yeah, for failure. So he deems it as failure. Now, I don't know if they're giving them the choice. They roll up to a world, yes or no, you have 31 hours before you're dead, you know, if you say no. I'm assuming that's how it is. God damn, eh?
The consequences of decimation were substantial, and the unease of facing it started to loom over the World Eaters like a dark cloud. Over the next number of years, the Legion transformed itself under Angron's leadership, as the Warhounds became the World Eaters, and the flagship Adamant
Turbo,
Resolve
Primarch of the Iron Warriors enforced something like this as well.
The once honorable and strategic compliance campaigns of the Warhounds devolved into ruthless bouts of slaughter.
Wow.
The World Eaters continued to change, and their image and reputation in the eyes of the other Astartes legions also began to shift. As the Great Crusade continued on, even some within the World Eaters began to quietly question their new direction.
Really?
The dreams of serving under a tactical genius like Rabute Gilliman or a heroic warrior like Sanguinius slowly started to wash away. The World Eaters couldn't truly understand the pain that Angron felt from his genetic implants, but they saw how they affected him. When they were engaged in battle, Angron was a force to be reckoned with. The Nails turned this already fierce, unstoppable warrior into a complete embodiment of war.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It was impossible to contain.
Look how giant he is comparatively. Holy shit.
Dared to stand in his way. It was when the Legion wasn't in battle that...
At least they recovered the gene seed, right?
Angron was impatient, short-tempered, and completely devoid of
Decimation is like Tuesday for Peter and Angron, yeah.
Flying fits of rage out of nowhere, smashing servitors to mere fragments of circuitry, and leaving gaping holes in the corridors of the Conqueror. Many World Eaters had gone years without Angron ever acknowledging their existence.
Yeah.
As their Primarch would frequently stalk past them without even making eye contact. The World Eaters continued taking worlds in the name of compliance.
And this makes me think too, like, again, back to Cry Havoc. What is it like to stand in the presence of your Primarch, right? That question. He asked that question to so many different chapters, so many different legions, and they all had a different answer, and it was all a message of respect, of empowerment, of fucking, there he is, there's our boy, that's our poster boy, that's our father, you know what I'm saying? That's our leader. Angron does not give a shit about any of these guys. He does not give a fuck. He won't even look at them in the eye. You know what I mean? Wow, like, so you can totally see where, like, obviously there must be, like, quite a few loyalists, I feel like, that stayed true to the Emperor even after his turn to chaos and the chapter, or I should say the Legion's turn to chaos as well. Wow.
But they frequently failed to do so in less than 31 hours. Then, during one particular compliance, something happened that changed the fate of the World Eaters forever. Angron had vanished.
Yeah, they just wanted Dad's approval. They never got it exactly. They just wanted to be, like, the best they could for him, right?
Karn had ordered every officer aboard every ship to search for Angron, but each report came back the same. Angron was nowhere to be found.
Uh-oh. You got a missing Angron.
After comparing the results of a deep Auspex scan to the inventory World Eater ships, it was discovered that one was missing. Descending Edge. Not wanting to derail the current campaign, Karn left it in the hands of his trusted officers and set out with a small team to find Angron. Karn combed
the Nails took away his Primarch's aura, so they feel nothing towards Angron. Oh, that would make a lot of sense. Because they can't feel any emotion outside of anger, right?
After years upon years of waiting for his Primarch to surface, he finally did, only to disappear without a trace shortly after taking command of the Legion. Karn swore that he would either return of Angron, or he would not return at all. He was prepared to spend the rest of his life searching for him.
Damn.
But then, the ship crew spotted something in orbit, floating silently above a dark world. Something that resembled the long-missing Descending Edge. Karn didn't need to step foot on the ship to know what he would find. Or more specifically, what he wouldn't find. The small escort ship was gone too long and too far away from feasible resupply.
So I like how Angron just kind of went on his own, like, separate side quest here, his own, like, little character development story. He just dipped out for a little bit. He's like, yeah, fuck it, boys, I'll be back. You know what I mean? It's kind of what it feels like. Fun fact, the flagship, the Conqueror, have grappling hooks to pull the enemy ships in. Wow, that's kind of interesting, eh? Probably makes boarding actions a lot easier, that's for sure. They don't feel the same like other Space Marines and their Primarch. Yeah, and I'm sure that the Nails definitely have. Thanks to how do you feel question. Yeah. Wow. It's nuts to me how he's just like he like truly just doesn't care. He has this army, this unstoppable army in a sense to most other things out there. And he just doesn't want it. He's so just not interested, you know? Wow.
The escort ship was gone too long and too far away from feasible resupply points to have any survivors on board.
That makes sense.
As the officers who journeyed through the stars of Karn boarded Descending Edge, Karn made planetfall to the world below to search for his Primarch. Unbeknownst to Angron, Karn had Mars-forged transponders installed within his power armor.
Wow.
As time went on and Angron's behavior became more unpredictable, Karn correctly assumes something like this may happen.
They're literally assuming that Dad's gonna dip out for smokes and never come back.
Karn knew that if Angron was on world, he would now be close enough to locate him. He cut through thick jungles and a seemingly endless amount of trees, following a path that had been created. As he followed, his auspex indicated that Angron was nearby. He walked for 6 hours, and as the sun set above him, he stood at the entrance to a massive cave. Karn's auspex beeped again, telling him what he already knew. Angron was here. He entered the cave, walking slowly and looking thoroughly in every direction. After only a short time in the cave, Karn heard a low, deep voice bellow out from the darkness.
You found me, Karn.
Ah, here I am. Welcome to my lair. Like, what?
Karn.
He's just been waiting, expecting them.
Leave me alone.
Oh, wow.
Sire, you know I didn't come all this way to leave without you. We have spent 2 years searching for you.
I don't care, Karn.
Literally.
Your sons are without their leader, Angron.
I don't have any sons. My sons died on Nuceria.
Because the Primarch Sayara
They
causes
died
intense
without
emotions
me.
like love to admire and install a sense of loyalty.
The Legion.
And his is completely
The
suppressed.
Crusade.
I see.
None of this was my choice. None of this was my destiny. Your pathetic Emperor.
Your pathetic
ripped my
Emperor.
destiny from my
Wow.
hands when he put me on your ship and left my brothers and sisters to die. I don't want to hear about my sons. Or
Right.
what you or they or anyone needs from me. I was finally free. Finally in charge of my own destiny. And in the blink of an eye, it was all gone.
Literally.
You may call me your father, your sire, your Primarch. But I'm just another slave to the High Rider Emperor, living out his destiny.
Wow.
It pained Karn to hear this, but he understood. From the moment Angron landed on Nuceria, he had not been in control of his own fate.
Yeah.
And what will you do here? Hide in this
My dad,
cave
best
forever?
dad, yeah.
I'll die. I'll stalk
Angron's
this world
aura
until
doesn't
something
exist thanks to
kills
the
me.
nails, yeah.
The way I should have been killed on Nuceria.
The world leaders don't have that aura. They act towards Angron straight out from love.
You can
They just
never
care about him.
understand my pain. Ah! They never stop. Ah! There is no peace.
Come back, Angron. We can continue fighting in the crusade, and the pain will subside.
No. None of you are strong enough. Ah! The campaigns have been riddled with failure, Karn.
Failure.
You're all focused on the wrong things.
Wow.
When I look at you, your brothers, I don't see warriors. There is too much talking, too much planning, too much diplomacy.
Then we can learn from you, Angron. You can train us.
No, I can't. Ah! You could never do what I do in battle. You
Wow.
don't feel the pain of the nails. You don't hear them sing as you fight, pushing you to butcher your enemy. You don't have the butcher's nails, Karn.
Karn looked into Angron's eyes and stepped closer.
But what if we did?
See, but Angron directly just either he's a hypocrite because he's talking about his pain in a sense where it's like, you know, they'll never know the pain that he felt. They'll never know like how he's feeling. But you don't want people to know how you're feeling, right? That's kind of the whole point in a sense is what he's trying to say. So I feel like he is really mixing up the words, confusing his own legion that way. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like guilt baiting them in a sense, a little bit in that capacity. I understand what he's trying to say, and I definitely understand what they're saying, trying to feel his pain, but like that ultimately is not what he wants, you know? Irrational people make irrational decisions. Yeah, that's true. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
He may have been fighting the Emperor's crusade, and he wasn't leading his true brothers, the ones who died
Butcher's
alone
nails
in
drove him
Syria.
to insanity.
But for the first time in decades, Angron felt invigorated. This is what was missing. The Butcher's nails were the missing link. The link that would finally build the bond of Angron and his World Eaters. He had ordered Golan Surlak, a seasoned World Eater's apothecary, to replicate the Butcher's nails for mass production.
Goddamn.
And he made it known to the World Eaters that when they were able to produce them, he expected everyone in the Legion to undergo the surgery.
Jesus.
Many of the World Eaters shared Angron's enthusiasm for the Butcher's nails. They believed that if they were to receive the implants, they would finally be able to relate to their Gene Father. They would only concentrate on what mattered. They were supposed to be the weapon of the Emperor.
Right.
Leave the statesmanship and world building to the Ultramarines. Leave the care and compassion to the Salamanders. The World Eaters would be the bloody axe of the Imperium.
Right.
Surlak was brilliant and proficient in everything that he did, but he was mystified by the Butcher's nails. The technology wasn't terribly different from other augmentations that he had seen, but getting it to interface with a living brain proved to be extremely challenging. And his attempts at duplicating the nails failed miserably. He made multiple attempts, but none of the World Eaters who were subjected to the surgery survived.
Damn. It's kind of weird there. Well, I guess you would have to subject, like the World Eaters themselves would have to be test subjects for it, because obviously a normal human wouldn't work, right? You're not trying to interface it with a normal human. You're trying to interface it with an Astartes, you know what I'm saying? So it would, yeah. Fuck, you know, I can't imagine how many tries they must have taken. Original dialogue is much darker. Yeah, I bet.
Golan continued tweaking his prototypes. He tried new methods of implantation, different incision points, but nothing worked. At the same time, the World Eaters continued to fail in bringing worlds to compliance in 31 hours, and as Angron's patience began to evaporate, their next campaign proved to be a tipping point.
The 31 hours thing is fucking crazy, though. That's nuts. Like, that's asking a lot.
Had not received any communication from it in many years. The call was sent out to investigate, and it was the World Eaters who answered. Following a brief investigation, the World Eaters determined that the humans on 9315 were killed. In their place, Xeno life forms masquerading as humans settled on the planet, referring to it as Genna. Upon being notified of the situation, Angron ordered the compliance campaign. Unlike other campaigns, however, Angron stayed on the ship and left the fighting to his legion. And the consequences that came from what happened on Genna are still being felt to this day. Thousands of World Eaters descended upon Genna and marched towards the city gates. Led by Centurion Majo, they were prepared to fight Xeno resistance, but they were surprised to find no enemies at all. Instead, the people of Genna walked towards the Astartes with their hands at their sides. They had no weapons, no shields, nothing.
Wow.
No emotion shone across their faces as they walked towards the World Eaters. The World Eaters were more confused than alarmed, but that would soon change.
They don't want to fight back, or is it
As the Gennans
a trap?
marched towards the 12th Legion Astartes, they quickly found themselves overwhelmed. They weren't attacking, but there were so many of them that the World Eaters started to get weighed down by their sheer numbers. Realizing that they were soon to be trampled by the millions of Gennans that were flooding the streets, they made a decision. And for one of the last times, a World Eater would utter these words. Centurion Majo spoke into his Vox unit.
For the Emperor, and for Angron.
They butchered them all.
The Astartes warriors began butchering the Gennans in the street, attacking them at will. Bolter fire, las rifle blasts,
kind of crazy.
Power spears. They brought forth the full force
They
of
literally
their
weren't
arsenal.
fighting back, although they were Xenos.
But it made no difference. There were millions of Gennans marching upon them, and there was nothing that they could do to slow them down.
So they're just gonna trample them down?
Hours became 15. 15 became 1.
Damn.
And eventually, a tone sounded within the helmet of every Astartes on Genna's surface. Time was up. They had failed to take the world in 31 hours.
Goddamn.
And were once again faced with decimation.
Wow. And it's kind of brutal to think, like, every time that happens, they're getting decimated. 1/10 of every fucking legionary is getting killed, which obviously then would make the whole 31-hour thing that much harder to obtain, because now you have less soldiers overall. Fuck, even when you don't take casualties in combat, you're still getting fucking destroyed, decimated at the end of all of it. That's so nuts, man. Like, I can totally see why, like why they were never, like, reaching his expectations. It's because you weren't really giving them, like, you know, you're literally killing them. Of course they're gonna take longer. Like, what the fuck?
The World Eaters stood silently in front of their Primarch. No one dared to utter a word. The air in the hall was thick with nervous tension. Angron spoke, but it wasn't necessary. Everyone knew what was to come next. 1 out of every 10 World Eaters was to sacrifice their life for their failing. It was a formality that the World Eaters had become all too familiar with. But in a moment that left everyone in the hall utterly stunned, Centurion Majo stepped forward and spoke.
No.
The tension in the room was now suffocating. Everyone in attendance was in complete disbelief. Angron stepped closer to Majo and stared down at him with a fiery gaze.
What did you just say?
I mean no disrespect, Father, but we cannot do this. We have already suffered greatly on this crusade. We cannot continue killing our own.
Angron took another step towards Majo.
You're brave, Mago. Speaking your mind.
That's what he wants.
Your commander's
That's
orders.
exactly what he wants.
I doubt anyone else would have the courage to speak so freely.
Angron turned away from Majo and slowly walked away.
You and your warriors are responsible for this suffering you speak of. I will say it again. 1 in 10. Step forward.
Father, we cannot.
Angron kept his composure the first time Majo spoke, but he did not the second time. Angron picked up his axe, Widowmaker, and stomped towards the neatly assembled World Eaters. The nails were screaming, and Angron swung Widowmaker in a perfect harmony with the nails.
Damn.
He was blind with rage and striking indiscriminately at anyone and everyone.
And they just stood there and took it.
Decimation was one thing, but Angron had lost control of his body. He was overcome by violent fury.
Wow.
The World Eaters' librarians feared that Angron may kill everyone. They made a split-second decision to use their psychic abilities to stop Angron's rampage. By channeling a memory within Angron's mind, they hoped it could subdue him long enough to end his violent outburst. Memories of Angron's past flickered throughout his mind. A long-forgotten vision of a young Angron standing in the snow of the Deshayan Mountains was enough to end the slaughter.
Wow. So he's literally remembering his past, and that's what stops him from doing this. The fact that he completely lost his composure, completely lost control of his body, and just, instead of decimation, just started swinging wildly at the crowd of Astartes lined up in front of him. Wow. I really kind of thought he would respect the whole, no, we're not going to do this, because it's somebody actually speaking their mind, speaking up to him as an authority figure, and all he wants is to not be an authority figure. He didn't really ask for that, you know? He's in charge without the want to be in charge of these people, you know? He doesn't see them as his sons, you know? He doesn't have any relation to them. He's not forged that bond with them, even as hard as they're trying. And I don't think they ever will, is the thing.
The World Eaters watched in horror as Angron fell to his knees and collapsed to the ground. Angron wasn't dead, but the psychic interference from the librarians had rendered him unconscious. With their Primarch in a psychic coma, the World Eaters were safe from Angron's rage. But the cracks within the Legion's foundation began to show themselves.
Yeah, he just doesn't care at all. Yeah, he doesn't seem to. That's the thing.
The 12th Legion were never happy to fail their Primarch.
No.
But the fallout from this defeat was different. A divide was forming within the Legion. On one side, there were the Astartes that wanted the Butcher's Nails. They believed it would strengthen their Legion and allow them to become what they were supposed to be. On the other side, There were those who believed that the Butcher's nails would spell doom for the World Eaters.
And I think that's ultimately true. Again, like, the thing that makes Astartes unique is that each one is a thinking and capable individual. The nails are literally taking away that, in a sense. They're taking away physical control of your body, and you're no longer serving the Emperor. You're serving your base desire of anger that is amplified, all in a effort to try to please your father, right? Your Primarch. But your Primarch, man, to anyone paying attention, right? Like, within the Legion itself, you must understand that your Primarch doesn't care about you, and he never will the way that you want him to. You know what I'm saying? I'm surprised that it's like a 50-50 split by the sounds of it here, because like you'd think a lot of more rational Marines would just say, no, it's not worth it. We're never going to gain his respect, as we clearly haven't, you know? It's interesting to think about that.
There were those who believed that the Butcher's nails would spell doom for the World Eaters. They argued that if they were to become as mentally and emotionally unstable as Angron, that the Legion would completely collapse. Majo believed the nails were a curse. Karn believed they were a savior. And this was the primary topic of discussion as the two Astartes clanked their axes in the dueling pits of the Conqueror.
You are lucky to be alive, after challenging Angron the way you did.
This Legion is coming undone, Karn.
It's evolving.
Evolving? Into what, exactly?
Yeah.
Thousands of us have been killed by our own blades.
Literally, yeah.
All because a world wasn't taken in 31 hours?
It's what our Primarch demands, Mago. Who are we to question him?
Like,
every Legion has its difficulties, its quirks.
This is not a quirk,
Don't forget
though.
how long we went without a commander. Angron is laying the groundwork for the 12th.
We had a commander.
Yeah, and it functioned perfectly
and then
fine.
He was murdered almost as soon as our Primarch arrived.
Literally.
Gear was a placeholder. He wasn't a Primarch. Now, I have no ill words to speak of Gear, but I don't think you're giving Angron enough time.
I think you've given him plenty of time. It's been years. It's been years.
We're slowly dying from these decimations, and now this talk of giving us all the nails.
It isn't talk. It will happen. They're getting closer to a prototype that can be implanted in all of us.
Then they should be rejected. By all of us.
Wow.
Look at what Angron did earlier today. Do you believe that we would benefit from being more like him?
No.
I believe that we should have been victorious on Genna. I believe that if we had the nails, that so many of our brothers that you lament the loss of would still be here.
But that's the direct cause of the loss, though. That's nuts.
In battle, Karn. It's impossible not to admire what Angron does in combat. But there is a life outside of combat.
Yes.
And the nails will destroy that. Our reputation amongst the other legions would be tarnished.
We're not here to maintain a polished reputation. We're here to wage war. To be the sword of the Emperor. Whether we have the nails or not, our mission remains unchanged. Our Primarch believes that the nails will aid us in achieving that mission. And I agree with him.
It's very hypocritical, though.
The only thing I see is an existence where we abandoned who we are and become something else.
Yeah.
Physical incarnations of rage.
And maybe, Mago, that is exactly what we should become.
That's crazy.
It had taken Golan Surlak years to get to this point, but he was finally on the verge of a breakthrough. After the failed compliance of Genna, Karn had brought Apothecary Surlak one of the Xeno corpses so he could study it. And after dissecting the body and inspecting
that looks crazy.
he learned that the Genin corpse was not a Xeno after all. It was a machine.
Wow.
After running a series of tests, Surlak had determined that the Genins were wired to receive a signal, which meant that the millions of Genins were not marching upon the World Eaters by their own free will. They were being controlled remotely by human minds.
Oh.
Surlak's discovery prompted a hypothesis. If the Genins were not operating under their own control, and their actions were being dictated by human minds, was it possible that there could be a connection to the Butcher's nails? With Angron still in his psychic coma, Surlak was able to study the Primarch's
become berserks and fight without strategic planning.
Before.
Surely this will improve our effectiveness at our campaigns. Exactly, and like not only that, but it's like, how the hell do you again, yeah, as they say, there's life outside of combat, you know, there's more to being a space marine than just combat. Obviously, like, yeah, I can understand, like, oh, leave the refined reputation to the other legions. I can understand that mindset in a sense, but it's also like, bro, like, clearly you killing your own dudes is not effective. There's no argument against that. Blue on bluing yourself is never the fucking right cause, and that's exactly what's happening, you know? There's no argument against that. The argument that he had against that was, oh, you're not giving Angron enough time, bro. It's like, what? Like, I think we've given him years at this point to see how his ideas work out. 31 hours is nuts. 31 hours is a very fucking tough expectation by even like Hastati standards. Like, what the hell? You know, it's an entire world we're talking about here. It's not always that cut and dry.
With Angron still in his psychic coma, Serlac was able to study the Primarch's implants more closely than ever before. He spent the next several days poring over the data he had acquired, comparing the information obtained from the dead Gennin's body to that of Angron's nails. The results were astonishing. The archaeotech utilized in Angron's implants was nearly identical to the Gennin technology that Serlac had been studying. This was it. This was the discovery that he had been hoping for. The missing piece that can ensure his replication successfully interfaced with a living brain. He wasn't 100% certain yet, but if his theory was correct, if the Gennin technology was in fact based on the same standard template construct of Angron's nails, then the code had been cracked.
Yeah. Because to my knowledge, obviously they need STCs to make any of these more advanced works, especially when it comes to augmentation, I'm sure. So they don't have an STC in this case, but they do have a very remarkable example to follow. One that is very, very closely related to the nails itself. But it is weird that it's still Xenos technology in a sense. They said it was connected to the human mind, but obviously we know AI is outlawed in Imperium law. So the fact that it's interfaced with the human mind, I'm sure gives these guys a pass in a sense, but still. Very strange. I guess they don't know what Emperor did to Thunder Warriors earlier and why exactly, but I guess the Thunder Warriors were very much buried, right, by this time period. I guess the Thunder Warriors, to my knowledge, they're one of the Emperor's best kept secrets, really, aren't they? Isn't that right? Yeah, it was all based on the human standard technology, yeah.
Serlac immediately went to work, carefully constructing his new duplicate nails to the specifications of the Gennin technology. And after days with his head down, working in his lab, his prototype was finished. All that was left was to test them on a live subject. Serlac understood that there would be hesitancy amongst the Legion. Dozens of World Eaters had already died from previous versions of the nails.
And Angron himself. Let's not forget that, and it was more than dozens by a lot. Hundreds, thousands perhaps.
The Legion to the triumph hall of the
a tenth of every battle.
Serlac had waited years to make this announcement. The Butcher's nails had arrived. All that he needed was a volunteer. A voice in the crowd of the World Eaters spoke.
I think I know who this is going to be.
Through the gathering of Astartes. Serlac smiled as his volunteer stepped forward. Karn removed his helmet.
So I thought it was going to be
back at Serlac.
Karn.
He was ready for the nails. With Karn laying on an operating table in the apothecary's lab, a nervous excitement began to build up within Serlac.
Game Workshop's writers sometimes have a problem with numbers, yeah.
The surgery was almost
problem
complete.
with a few things at times, I hear.
A casual eye would not be able to differentiate between Angron's nails and those that Karn was receiving. Sleek, silver cabling wrapped around the back of Karn's head and connected to the nails inside. As the last connection clicked into place, his eyes opened. He was disoriented, unaware of where he was. Beads of sweat formed at the top of his head, slowly dripping down his face. A voice was speaking in the background, but Karn couldn't make out the words. He looked down and saw his hand shackled to the table he was on. Whether it was pure coincidence or a divine event, I'm unsure anyone will ever know. But as the nails began to pulse in Karn's head for the first time, as he lost control of his emotions, ripping the shackles from the bed with terrifying force. Angron suddenly woke up.
Oh.
And this was the moment that the divide in the World Eaters deepened beyond repair.
Yeah.
With a reliable production of the Butcher's Nails ready for implementation.
Obviously, again, you have these two varying factions within the World Eaters themselves. Yeah, it would be a hard sell to get you to put that in my brain. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we'll be more like Detty, but like, yeah, also you're just succumbing to anger entirely. Nothing else. Your aura is gone. Your personality is gone. You are no longer your own person, and you will eventually die to this. 100%. You know, this will kill you eventually. Oh, but we're evolving. No, we're not. That's regression if ever I'd heard it, you know? Next live stream, we're going to see a shelf in the background of the mini collection. Yeah, maybe. I guess we'll have to see, eh?
The World Eaters on one side of the divide stood ready, waiting for their opportunity to receive the gift.
Oh, depends on you guys, I guess, eh?
While those on the other side of the divide organized a coup.
Wow, a coup, a straight-up rebellion.
Majo understood that it was the technology from the dead Genins that led to the creation of the nails, and he believed that there could be more information on Genna. Information that could lead to the removal of Angron's nails. If he could get there in time, it was possible that he could save his broken Primarch. The news of Angron's awakening and Karn's successful surgery spread across the World Eaters like
the nails was only killing Angron? Oh, so the nails don't actually affect other Astartes in the same way? I guess they might have perfected that in a little way, I guess, you know? Obviously, the Imperium, I'm sure, had a lot more outsider knowledge, I guess, let's say, on brain augmentation in quotation marks there, then obviously this, you know, they still had technology on that Roman-like world, but obviously not near to what the Imperium has in total, right? So I'm sure it was upgraded, again, in quotation marks, yeah. They are different? Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
Surgery spread across the World Eaters like wildfire. Majo knew he didn't have much time.
More tragedy coming, no great.
Planetfall to Genna, but as he was soon to learn, it was too late. The World Eaters had passed the point of no return. Angron and his new warriors were already on the ground. As more of the Genin machines poured into the streets, they were met with a violent death. Nearly 1,000 World Eaters, with silver cables dangling from the backs of their heads, rampaged the Genin machines.
Wow.
There was no discipline in sight, no plan of attack. The World Eaters, their heads freshly equipped with their new engines of madness, were berserkers.
Wow.
Angron, Karn, and Galen Surlak hunted down the humans that were controlling the Genin machines. And in a spire in the middle of the burning capital city, they found them. When they entered the spire, they found hundreds and hundreds of small machines. They were stacked on top of each other, and each one housed a human.
Wow.
Galen Surlak theorized that the humans on Genna had built these machines to keep themselves alive, and using the technology that was now responsible for mass production of the Butcher's Nails, they controlled the proxy humans on the world. Angron looked around the room in disgust.
Wow.
Kill them all.
Wow.
I don't want a single one of them to survive.
That's kind of crazy, though.
And with that order, Majo's hope of saving his Primarch died.
Yeah.
Majo and his supporters walked down from the ramp of their gunship and stepped foot onto Genna. They couldn't believe their eyes. The World Eaters were unrecognizable, destroying everything in their path. He watched in disgust as one of his crazed brothers swung his sword over and over at a Genin corpse that was long dead. They headed into the city center and found it in shambles. Buildings were on fire. Dead Genins lined the blood.
Yeah, others have 2 or 3 nails. Angron has like a dozen, and his brain kept being ripped out and recovered until it merged with the nails. Oh, merged with the nails. Okay. The Butcher's Nails and the Space Marines are similar to Angron's, but not as the ones in Angron was damaging his brain. Okay. As his brain was healing, causing the nails to go deeper and do more damage to him. I see.
And in the distance, Majo saw his gene father.
Like an abusive relationship, yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
He slowly approached him and felt a sinking feeling in the pit of his stomach as his eyes fell upon Karn. Cables from the nails now dangled from the back of his head. The bloodshed and destruction surrounding him was not a compliance campaign. It was a civil war.
Wow.
World leaders with the nails were pummeling their brothers that rejected the implants.
Really?
Mercilessly slaughtering them and then searching for the next victim.
Is this where it started?
Screamed into the air.
Wow.
Khan, it didn't have to be this way.
Khan laughed, then turned his head to look into Majo's eyes.
It did have to be this way. There was never going to be another way.
There is no saving me. Angron, your Primarch, died before you even knew he existed.
Yeah, exactly.
He died on Luceria. All that's left is the murderer, the bloodthirsty killer that the High Riders created. I've heard enough of your voice, Mago. So if you have any last words you want to say to your pathetic Emperor, speak them now.
Wow.
He never had a chance to reply. Khan's axe struck Majo at the neck.
Damn.
And as his lifeless body hit the ground, a new chapter of the World Eater's story began.
So they straight up just, like, turned on their own legion in a way and killed everybody that rejected the implants. That's fucking nuts. So you gotta think decimation on decimation on decimation, and then straight up just a quelling of essentially half their numbers, from what I'm assuming here. I'm guessing it was a pretty large... probably a pretty large faction that didn't want the nails installed in their head. I'm guessing it wasn't a small amount of them, that's for sure. God damn, dude. That's brutal.
After what is now referred to as
the Horus
the
Heresy.
Second Compliance of Genna, the World Eaters were never the same. The Butcher's nails were being produced en masse, and those remaining that did not have the cybernetic implants wouldn't be without them for much longer.
At this point, Angron has a two-handed chain axe
As the
called
World Eaters
Widowmaker.
continued on the Great Crusade, their compliances became more and more ruthless. And as
They want to listen to the Sanguinius versus Angron fight. One of the best fights in the series. Yeah, I'll have to do that for sure. You should come join the Discord and you should link that in the Discord for me. Just plug my Discord right there, you know what I'm saying? We'll go back here a couple seconds.
Much longer. As the World Eaters continued on the Great Crusade, their compliances became more and more ruthless. And as Mago prophesied prior to his untimely death, the reputation of the World Eaters had indeed become tarnished. The constant decimations, the erratic behavior of the World Eaters after having been implanted with the Butcher's nails, attacks on Imperial allies during cooperative campaigns.
Cry Havoc happens after this. The 12th had like 4 civil wars. Yeah, exactly, right? So this is like one of many. And this isn't even like at the time of the Horus Heresy where it was the decision of, do we follow our Primarch still, even as he's turning to chaos, or do we stay loyal to the Emperor? And it's again another civil war. Very, very interesting. Easy little plug there. Yeah, of course. Gotta plug it when you can, you know what I'm saying? The nails in Angron didn't fit properly, so then Nucerians just cut up the parts of his that were roughly the same as a human's and forced them to fit. Wow.
It was concerning behavior, and the other Primarchs became disgusted with Angron. Leman Russ feared that Angron was spiraling out of control, and that he was taking his legion down with him.
Definitely is.
And in a bold act of intervention, Leman Russ confronted Angron about the continued atrocities the World Eaters were committing.
Wow.
Some theorize that the Emperor ordered Russ to intervene, while others believe that Russ took the confrontation upon himself. Regardless of who made the decision, it came as quite the surprise to the Conqueror's bridge crew when their Auspex detected unusual warp activity. Surprise turned to alarm when the Auspex readouts confirmed that the activity was a ship emerging from the warp. The ship that was approaching them was the Hrankel, the Space Wolf's flagship. And it wasn't alone.
Yeah.
It hadn't been long since the Genin city of Malkoya had been ravaged by Angron in the 12th. The city's wounds were still fresh. Blood and debris were still scattered throughout what remained of it. And in the fields just outside
First Leman Russ to crash out.
Russ and Angron met.
This feels like a crash out.
This
is about to occur.
Brother, I can no longer sit idle while you destroy your own legion.
See, he's calling him brother. Angron does not see this dude as a brother. He doesn't see them as family. He doesn't see them as siblings. He doesn't see his fucking Space Marines as his own children. And that's like the thing here. They're all talking to him as if they love him, as if Angron has no love for any of them. He's got the nails in his head. He couldn't even if he wanted to. And why would he at the end of the day, even if he didn't have the nails? What loyalty does he owe the Emperor for taking away his fate? Exactly. He didn't want to be saved. Exactly right. He had no interest in it. You know what I'm saying? He had no interest in being whisked away on a whim, on somebody else's whim. He wanted to be in control of his own life for once, and he finally was, and it was taken from him. He's got no love here. The last video I posted in the Discord is the short conversation between Angron and Leman Russ. I'll have to check that out sometime. Yeah. Wow. This is interesting as hell, man, because it's just from start to finish here. You know what I'm saying? It's very interesting. Obviously, this is where I'm starting to know a little bit about Angron in my own sense. You know what I'm saying? Like I know a little bit about him in the Horus Heresy from what we've picked up from the Luton videos and whatnot. So this is a time period I'm a little bit more familiar with, but obviously I don't know how this confrontation with Leman Russ goes down. That's for sure. I hate Russ, problem maker. Okay, well I guess we'll have to see here, won't we?
Murdering your own sons in the name of decimation.
Murder. Eliminating the Legion's weakness is not murder.
Wow. It's a crazy way to think about it.
And who do you think you are to tell me what I should be doing? I don't take orders from you, Russ.
What you are doing is wrong. Compliance is one thing, Angron, but you are committing genocide.
That is what it is, yeah.
Slaughtering entire worlds of civilians who are attempting to surrender is not furthering the Emperor's cause. Your implants are fueling this lunacy.
See, and that's completely truthful. Slaughtering worlds that are willing to submit to you, that's not furthering anything. That's actually just taking away. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's completely nuts. So maybe Leman is a problem maker here, but I think he's touching on something that should be touched on for certain. You know what I'm saying? Because like, holy fuck, like this guy is kind of nuts. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you can relate to him. You can see where he comes from, but that doesn't make him right. You know what I'm saying?
Your implants are fueling this lunacy, and it must be corrected. All of us, the World Eaters and the Space Wolves, are to return to Terra so that these implants can be removed.
You act as if the Emperor himself hasn't ordered genocide. You all lie to yourselves and call it compliance? But is there a single world that you or I have liberated during this crusade that had a choice?
A real choice.
Comply
That's
with
a
the
fair
word
point.
of the Emperor,
yeah.
Or die. That is not a choice.
Who wants to best that Angron will listen to Leman?
But these are the Emperor's orders, brother.
I don't think I'm going to take that bet.
You disgust me, Angron.
Russ ain't lying, but you'll see.
Go on your way, Russ. And know that you ever talk down to me with this unmerited dream of authority
Holy
again,
shit, he's breaking out the big words.
There will be consequences.
Goddamn.
Both
Direct
the
threat.
Space Wolves and the World Eaters could sense that the situation was about to escalate, and the Primarchs could feel their tension. Leman Russ spoke through gritted teeth.
I'm leaving, but you're coming with us. We're closing the chapter on the Butcher's nails.
I'm going nowhere. You and your rabble of moon-howling cowards are less than an afterthought to me.
He does not give a
You
shit.
lead your legion, and I will lead mine. Why don't you make yourself useful and return to the Emperor's great enslavement crusade?
Wow.
Your disloyalty is shameful, Angron.
You've spoken enough, Russ. Now you listen to me. You are no more loyal than I am. I have slaughtered countless innocent souls just like you. The only difference is that I do it in service to the nails, to ease the pain. I follow the Emperor's orders, Russ. But I don't do it under a false pretense of morality.
That's a fair way to look at it.
If I was as principled and righteous
That's a
as
deep
you,
insult.
I would have taken our bastard father's skull.
Oh.
Leman Russ couldn't hold back any longer.
That's gonna enrage
he threw
him.
himself at Angron,
Yeah.
swinging his chain blade with fury. The two Primarchs parried each other.
Because obviously this is a Primarch that respects the Emperor, that is thankful of the Emperor, thankful for what the Emperor does for humanity. And this absolute clash, I don't think Angron's really been in the presence of other Primarchs or anyone that could potentially even take him on in a fight. Obviously he killed all the Space Marine commanders that tried to reference the Emperor in a good light. So when he meets another Primarch, obviously, yes, they're going to clash. That's like, anyone could foresee this, where like infighting amongst Astartes would come from when you have a Primarch like Angron who just does not give a shit. He's not loyal to the Emperor. He doesn't care. Never has cared. He's not doing it for him at all.
Righteous as you, I would have taken our bastard father's skull.
Leman Russ couldn't hold back any longer. He threw himself at Angron, swinging his chain blade with fury.
Wow.
The two Primarchs parried each other's vicious attacks. Russ was winding up to strike Angron, but he was overpowered by a blow from Angron's Widowmaker.
Oh.
As the two Primarchs stood across from each other, snarling in anger, their legions were suddenly attacking each other. Whether the first strike originated from the Space Wolves or the World Eaters is unknown, but it didn't take long for sheer chaos to ensue.
Yeah.
The two legions erupted into violence around the dueling Primarchs.
And I can totally see why this guy would eventually be, and maybe I'm incorrect, but why this would be, like, in a sense, Khorne's like poster boy. You know what I'm saying? Because he's all about blood. He's all about killing. He's all about no mercy. He's all about savagery. You know what I'm saying? And he's willing to just his complete defiance for the Emperor already makes him so susceptible to chaos. The fact that he does just want to kill to soothe the pain in his head. He is a total, and again, that's where like it confuses me with the Emperor, because like the Emperor, although he's not telling anybody else of the presence of these chaos gods, he himself is aware of them, aware of their presence, right? And he's aware that obviously what makes them more powerful in a sense, right? He's got a base knowledge of that at a minimum for sure. So the fact that he's going to keep a Primarch like Angron around, right? Khorne wanted the blood angels and Sanguine. Yes, but I'm sure he must also help. He must attribute a lot. Maybe it's not Khorne. Who what would you say Chaos God would support the World Eaters the most, you know? I guess in a sense.
The two legions erupted into violence around the dueling Primarchs. Russ was fully aware that he was outmatched in combat against Angron.
Yeah.
He was too strong.
Angron's a
too
monster.
Fast. And Angron was so unhinged that he didn't care if he killed his own brother. He didn't pay any attention to what was going on around them. And that was the point that Leman Russ was attempting to make.
Right.
Do you understand, Angron? Look at what's happened to your sons.
As Angron took his eyes off his brother, he found himself surrounded by space wolves. In every direction, the sons of Russ had their bolters aimed directly at Angron. Past them, the World Eaters were still engaged in combat and were getting the better of the space wolves.
You should be more concerned about what's happening to your sons, Russ.
Angron, look at your sons! They are so deranged that they don't even realize that you're about to die.
Wow, that's bold words.
At any
bold
moment,
words.
The space wolves surrounding Angron could rip through him with a storm of bolter fire.
But they didn't.
They're too busy winning the battle to worry about that.
Wow.
Leman Russ was trying to send Angron a message. He was trying to show him that the butcher's nails weren't the advantage that he thought they were. That blind rage is actually a hindrance.
It is.
And as Leman Russ lay on the ground, bloodied and bruised from his brother, he realized what many others would soon come to see for themselves. Angron was slowly losing himself to the nails.
I don't think it's
abandoning
slowly.
What little remaining logic and reason he had left.
He didn't have much to begin
Russ
with, bro.
howled towards the sky, rallying his sons by his side. And they fled towards their stormbirds. The World Eaters were so caught up in the nails-fueled bloodthirst that they didn't even realize the battle was over until the Space Wolves were gone.
Wow.
Angron laughed, believing himself victorious. And as the Rankel sailed into the stars, Leman Russ sat alone, coming to the sobering realization that Angron couldn't be saved.
No. And I think Angron couldn't be saved a long time before this, too. You know what I'm saying? Like, he obviously showed that he was no fit leader the instant he was there, which is, again, so nuts to me why the Emperor, again, wanted him for that position. I get he's his son. He was made to lead that legion. But also, they were working just fine with the Astartes commanders in charge. And also, he is a direct hindrance, and it is coming back to bite him directly. Obviously, come the heresy, right? Khorne wanted Sanguinius before Dorne, but the angel was too loyal.
As fate would have it, Angron wasn't the only Primarch headed down a destructive path. Lorgar, Primarch of the Word Bearers, was pushed towards the ruinous powers of the Dark Gods after being publicly humiliated by the Emperor and Rabute Guilliman.
Yes.
And following the events of Davin, Horus, the War Master and Primarch of the Luna Wolves, was also tempted by the powers of chaos. Lorgar used this opportunity to manipulate Horus, and the seeds of betrayal were sown. After the corruption of Horus, the War Master
Leman was pretty competent and reasonable here, I'm surprised.
And these traitorous
Fair enough, yeah.
gave birth to the
Guess
Horus
we can all
heresy.
shock ourselves a little bit, eh?
As the heresy began to take shape, Horus was able to convince half of the other Primarchs to join his cause.
Yeah.
There were some Primarchs that needed a fair amount of convincing. Angron was not one of them.
Angron did not need any
It wasn't
convincing.
that Angron stood with Horus. It was that he hated the Emperor.
Exactly.
And the heresy was the perfect opportunity to exact revenge on the man who left his brothers and sisters to die on Nuceria. On the planet of Isfahan III, Vardis Prawl, the corrupt Imperial governor, had suddenly raised his banner in rebellion of the Imperium.
Wow.
Ordered to prevent the uprising, Horus still appeared the dutiful son and called the Emperor's children, the Death Guard, and the World Eaters to his side. And though on the surface it appeared that Horus was fighting in service of the Emperor, he was actually preparing to fire the first shots of a monstrous and vile civil war.
Right.
Thousands of loyal Astartes landed and set to work slaughtering those who had betrayed the Imperium, never knowing that the true betrayal had only just begun.
Yeah.
Those on the ground at Isfahan had landed with the intent to honor their fathers.
Isfahan. Oh.
Their fathers repaid them with death in the form of virus bombs.
Yeah.
For a number of World Eaters, even with their brains distorted from the butcher's nails, this was too far. They had been willing to abandon nearly all of their ideals, but they could not go as far as betraying the Emperor. Angron punished them for this refusal. Against the will of Horus, Angron landed 50 companies of World Eaters to kill his remaining loyalist sons.
Wow.
The World Eaters who had rejected the nails had been purged during the second compliance of Genna.
Right.
The second purging of the World Eaters occurred on Isfahan III, when those that refused
Which is where
to
Cry
betray
Havoc
the
takes
Imperium
place. We
were
know that.
murdered. And the last glimmer of hope for the World Eaters died in fire, along with the planet.
And obviously we saw how Cry Havoc ended. The Isfahan 3, the drop site massacre. Yes, exactly. I remember that pretty well. It's hard to forget such a thing, where obviously so many loyalists were eradicated, and obviously, all loyalists of Angron's Legion were also eradicated at this time. I don't believe that there are any actual surviving World Eaters with the nail still in their head, loyalists at least. I think they actually all died there unironically, which is kind of crazy. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't know the deep lore on that, but wow, obviously Isfahan was a complete nightmare for anyone involved, I'm sure. After breaking Widowmaker at this point, Angron had 2 chain axes known as Gorefather and Gorechild. I remember that actually, yeah.
It was clear that the galaxy would never be the same, and Angron continued to slip further and further from who he once was. As some within the Legion would come to learn, the Butcher's nails produced by Garland Serlac were slightly different than Angron's originals.
Okay.
The nails created at scale were simply low-quality copies of the originals. They rewrote emotional responses and caused deterioration in the ability to reason, but they were not lethal.
Right.
The nails in Angron's brain, however...
There were a few that survived, but none that I'm aware that survived the heresy.
These marvels of Dark Age technology were not designed for use in a Primarch's brain, and the implants were slowly killing Angron. This degradation was difficult to notice initially.
I don't think that's true.
As time passed, the deterioration became more severe, and Angron became even more erratic, unpredictable.
That looks crazy.
The bond that the World Eaters were so eager to share with their Primarch never materialized. They had truly believed that receiving the Butcher's nails would unify them with their Gene Father. Instead, the already fractured relationship between the World Eaters and Angron crumbled even further. The World Eaters had damaged their own ability to reason and think outside the lines of rage. And Angron was completely broken, a shell of his former self. After the attacks on Isfahan, Angron and Lorgar set off together to execute assaults on the 500 worlds of Ultramar.
Damn.
Erebus and Corferon were to lead a sophisticated attack on Calth, while Angron and Lorgar were to coordinate a similar attack on Armatura. The journey from the Isfahan system to Ultramar was long and would take months to traverse.
Right.
And Lorgar quickly learned just how difficult the journey was going to be. While en route to Ultramar, the two Legions' flagships stopped off on the world of Turum to refuel and gather supplies. The resupply effort moved quickly, and within 1 week the word-bearers had stripped all of the world's resources. The World Eaters, however, had no interest in the resupply mission. Instead, they remained on world for an additional 10 days.
Just to kill everybody.
The entire population, and leaving a path of rubble and ash
That's
in their
fucked.
wake. Not long after,
Erebus.
a similar incident occurred on the world of Garland Prime. Lorgar sought to send a message to the Imperium by enslaving segments of the population. And once again, Angron and the World Eaters abandoned any thought of cohesion by swarming the surface and annihilating every living molecule.
And again, even as far as a rebellion goes, as far as the Horus Heresy goes, that does nothing to support your cause. No one's gonna side with you if they know they're gonna get butchered anyway. That's not a way to get people to join your cause. If they had been smarter about it, they might have actually gotten Imperium worlds to side with them, which I'm sure a lot of traitor legions actually did get worlds to side with them during the heresy. But the World Eaters coming in there and killing them regardless, obviously, if you're gonna die anyway, why would you support them? You know what I mean? If you're gonna get butchered anyway, that makes no sense. How the hell would Lorgar and Angron get along? I don't know. These seem like two people that are impossible to work alongside, simply. Macer Varen was a World Eater captain that stayed loyal and became one of the Knights Errant. It's also important to note that he didn't have the nails as he was a Psyker. Oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm assuming Psykers, that would definitely hinder Psykers' abilities, yeah.
Angron delayed them 3 more times with off-course, unnecessary stops on worlds irrelevant to their mission. Lorgar's patience with Angron was wearing thin, and he reached his breaking point when the World Eater's flagship broke course and began attacking a small group of Eldari ships. The Eldari ships retreated, and Lorgar made comms with Angron via his ship's hololith.
He also eventually became a Grandmaster of the Grey Knights.
Why are you wasting my time?
Lorgar looks crazy.
The Conqueror was attacked, Lorgar. Do you expect me to let that happen?
You were attacked by a group of pitiful Eldari dust mites that retreated as soon as you returned fire. Those ships are irrelevant. Pursuing them will serve no purpose whatsoever.
Literally.
Will only set us back further. Let me remind you, brother, that we are already more than 28 days behind schedule because you cannot help yourself from engaging in nonsensical expeditions that accomplish absolutely
Lorgar here is actually
nothing.
Just spitting facts, though.
Then go on without me, Lorgar. We will dispatch the enemy ourselves and reconnect once we're finished.
Please, tell me you are joking.
Wow.
They are not the enemy. You are actively avoiding the enemy by chasing
Wow.
those ships.
Speaking facts. Lorgar...
Guilliman is the enemy.
Listen, I don't know much about Lorgar, obviously. But he's spitting some fucking mad facts on our boy Angron right now. He is actually fucking just laying down the law. Like, completely right now, bro. I kind of respect him a lot, because he's literally saying, bro, like, I get you want to kill, just go kill the right fucking people. You're actually being useless to our cause right now. We are behind schedule because of you. Then go on without me. Brother, this is a fucking big fight. We need you people present to win this. That's the whole fucking point, my guy. Like, overall strategy is fucking a joke with these guys, you know what I'm saying? Obviously not Lorgar. Lorgar fucking can see, like, holy shit, this is an utter waste of time. Yeah, Lorgar is an evil genius type guy. I can tell. He looks fucking crazy, bro. But, like, at least he's got some tactical sense. Like, he's risen up this heresy. He's obviously fighting back against the Emperor, you know, whatever you may feel about that. But at least he's trying to do it with a sound mind, with a sense of, like, tactics, at least. He's not fighting just to lose, you know what I'm saying? He wants to win this shit. Lorgar can yap with the masters. Lorgar seems like a fucking G, I'm just saying.
You are actively avoiding
obviously a chaos G, but he does seem like a G.
Those ships. Guilliman is the enemy. The Emperor is the enemy, Angron. I beg of you.
Literally.
Focus.
They are Xenos, Lorgar.
This is such a childish, like, conversation to have. Holy shit.
They need to be killed.
Lorgar is also fairly tragic, as he also never had a chance.
About this
that makes a lot of sense.
And being delayed, it would make more sense for you to simply help us instead of arguing with me.
It took every ounce of self-restraint within Lorgar not to smash his palm against his own face.
Literally, yeah.
But he realized that Angron was right. He would have more success arguing with a wall.
Literally.
Than with his brother.
Very well, Angron. I will.
Perturbo has to hold the whole rebellion together strategically. Yeah.
And once we are finished, there will be no more distractions. No more stopping off to set fire to backwater worlds. No more engaging Xeno gunships. No more nonsense.
Literally.
Agreed?
No!
Angron smiled at his brother from the
not agreed.
Display.
I chase.
Sure, brother.
Yeah, literally, sure.
Whatever you say.
Whatever you say. That's not a good answer. That's a very, very bad answer. Lorgar's group mom? Yeah, Lorgar is straight up just trying to spit some fucking sense into this guy, and it's not working.
Sarin, commanding officer of the Conqueror, wanted to end pursuit of the Eldari ships.
We're wasting our time out here.
They had been searching for 5 hours, and there was no sign of the enemy ships.
We've been wasting our time for the past 3 weeks.
The Auspex hasn't detected anything. We don't see anything. We don't know which direction they went. These Eldar ships don't leave a warp signature. How does he expect me to follow something that leaves no trace?
Lotara knew that abandoning the search would infuriate Angron, but she didn't know what else to do. And then, she had an epiphany.
Like, yeah, they used the
we don't follow
the warp way, their own
they
thing,
attacked
right?
Us once we were alone, after we charged ahead of Fidelitas Lex. Maybe they thought we were vulnerable. Let's see if we can bait them into attacking us again.
With this theory in mind, Lotara decided that attempting to bait the Xenos was a better plan than flying aimlessly around in space.
Yeah, that makes way more sense.
The Conqueror jetted out into the void alone, and it wasn't long before Lotara's plan came to fruition.
Enemy ship approaching.
The 3 Eldari ships resurfaced and were now approaching the Conqueror. The enemy ships flanked the Conqueror from multiple sides, but their attacks failed to breach the void shields. Unlike last time, the Conqueror was well prepared for the Xenos.
It's interesting that the Eldar kind of have a bone to pick here. I don't know if it's just out of, like, spite, like they're just targeting what they deem as easy picks, you know what I'm saying? But very, very interesting that, it's very, very interesting that, fucking the Eldar just are here. They're just harassing these heretic vessels, you know what I'm saying? Very interesting, you know? I don't know what their piece is in all this as a grand scheme, you know? Like what purpose this serves them, but very interesting. Watch the Lorgar speech to Magnus after this. It's like 1 minute 30 seconds. Yeah, I can maybe look that up. You gotta remind me before we finish, though.
The World Eater's flagship blasted towards.
Meanwhile, the Elder laughing their asses off at Angron falling for baits. Like, literally, yeah. It's not hard to bait them.
Board their ship to deal with them personally.
Wow.
In a nod to Angron's gladiatorial heritage, the Conqueror was equipped with a unique weapon, the Ursus Claws.
Oh.
Spear-shaped lances the size of smaller escort vessels would be fired at enemy ships, puncturing their hulls.
Right. This is the harpoon gun you guys told me about.
They would activate their strong magnetic
Eldar want to stop chaos. Oh. So the Eldar had the foresight to know that this was chaos interfering directly with humanity in a sense, and they had the foresight to go in there and try to like prevent it as much as they can. That's interesting. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Puncturing their hulls. Once they had breached the ship, they would activate their strong magnetic elements, preventing their enemies from evading. Lotara ordered her crew to fire the Ursus Claws at the Eldari flagship, and the spears shot clean through the hull. The Xenos realized that they were about to be captured and attempted to flee, but it was too late.
Yeah.
The magnets activated and the Eldari ship was locked in place.
That's rough.
As the Conqueror pulled the ship closer with its barbarous spears, the word-bearers Fidelitas Lex broke through the void and prepared to board the enemy craft. And Lotara smiled as she received Vox confirmation that Angron and Lorgar had boarded the ship.
I like how Lorgar and Angron are getting busy themselves here.
Against the two Primarchs.
Yeah, no shit.
As the two brothers hacked and sliced their way through the Eldari corridors, they couldn't have been more different in their approaches. Lorgar was slow, methodical, and calculated as he surveyed his surroundings and identified his prey.
Right.
Angron sprinted like an unchained beast, bellowing as he swung his axe in a turbulent rampage.
Damn.
Lorgar could see momentary flashes of bliss in his brother's crazed eyes each time he ripped through another resisting Xeno.
Damn.
Yet these brief moments of happiness would almost immediately regress into bouts of rage as Angron searched for his next victim. Lorgar had suspected it for many years, but watching his brother up close and personal confirmed it.
This guy's a fucking psycho. Yeah. So it's funny that even his heretic brother, who's fighting alongside him, even has the foresight to be like, yeah, this dude's fucking losing his mind. Like, yeah, I'm sure he's here. It's great that he's here. It's great that I'm getting to fight alongside my brother and his legion. But man, they're fucking psychopaths, like, clearly, and they're losing their mind. He's succumbing very hard to all this, you know what I'm saying? He's not taking it well. Yeah, wow. Can't wait for you to watch the Amber King videos, like Erebus, the only likable word bearers, Karn the Betrayer, or Mr. Constantine Valador himself, and the General of the Custodes. Yeah, I can definitely check out Amber King, yeah. I'll have to check him out sometime. Check out those videos sometime, for sure. The Eldar's future seers saw him falling to chaos, so they were trying to prevent him from falling to chaos by killing him. I see, it's why the Eldar attacked him as a child. Oh, those were Eldar that attacked him. That makes a lot of sense. Are those Xenos around you? Those are Eldar that were able to see it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And even at that age, he was able to fight off an Eldar hit team, you know? That's pretty impressive. An Eldar kill team, I guess, yeah? Along with Corvus and the Great Khan, as they are very human Primarchs, yeah. Korax is such a hypocrite, though. I just can't stand him. I believe Lorgar is more self-aware among all traitor Primarchs. Yeah, he definitely seems like it. He's not, like, lost in the sauce. He's very much talking like he's still recognizing the situation and just what this means for all of them. It's not like he's just doing this out of spite. He's doing it with an actual strategy in mind. Like, you know, and he's doing it to win. Again, he's doing it ultimately to win. Not just to cause shit, but to actually secure a victory. And his brothers do not seem like they give a shit about victory. They're doing this purely to be vindictive and out of spite. You know what I'm saying? I think that's interesting.
Anytime he wasn't spilling blood or raising a city, the nails would punish him by hammering violently inside of his head. Angron's eyes twitched and the blood ran from his nose as he stalked down the corridor. The Eldari resistance was pitiful.
Wow.
Almost as if they had already accepted their fate. Their attacks barely made dents in the
Lorgar also can't lie. That's an interesting, interesting thing to have as a heretic. You can't lie.
Angron and Lorgar had cleared out the ship in no time, and all that remained was the bridge.
These Xenos make me sick.
The Eldari aesthetic was on full display on the ship's bridge. The Xeno inscriptions and the pungent alien odor was overwhelming. One Xeno remained on the ship, and Lorgar stood by as Angron approached him, dragging his axe on the floor as he walked.
Wow.
Let us get this over with, brother.
I'll take care of this one myself.
Angron was within striking distance of the Xeno when he suddenly began speaking in low Gothic.
Oh.
Monkai scum. You may kill me, but this is not over.
Wow.
We will never allow you to reach your destiny upon the Skull Throne.
Wow.
The nails were thumping so hard in Angron's head that he couldn't have heard the Xeno even if he was trying to listen.
Right.
Lorgar was stunned. He tried to speak, but the words were stuck in his throat, still trying to comprehend what he had just heard.
Yeah.
You will die, Monkai, before you can ever become the son of the Blood God.
The Blood God? What did you just say?
See, even Lorgar hears that and he's like, what the shit fuck? Like, it's real. It's real. It's actually real, you know? Like, Lorgar is having that moment of like, holy shit, this is exactly what they want. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that's going to stop him or like change his mind about what he's done in any sense. But I think that's interesting that Lorgar here, he's the only one able to like fucking catch on to like what's going on here, like the greater picture. Like, why are the Eldar interested in fucking with us? Why do they give a shit about humanity, right? No, it's the bigger picture, right? Wow. It's because Lorgar is chaos undivided without the madness juice a porous got? Yeah. The power and knowledge he gained was the truth which he made a religion known as the primordial truth. That's right, I've heard of the primordial truth before. That's facts. I've heard that mentioned. Wow.
Those fateful words were the last to ever leave the lips of the Xeno. As Angron's axe fell,
yeah, I assume no chance.
Swiftly ended his life.
Yeah. Not even a fight. Son of the Blood God.
It had taken longer than Lorgar anticipated, but they had finally arrived. The Shadow Crusade was about to begin. Calth was the first. Its planetary defense grids were bombarded with scrap code, leaving the world vulnerable to attack. Kor Pharon led the assault, first crashing ships
Need to join the server to recommend videos? Well, you can join the server and you could actually come and hang out with everyone too, get a part of a lot of different discussions. You know, we have a lot of different hobby channels on there, a lot of Warhammer related discussions as well as multiple gaming channels that you can come entertain yourself with. Come chat with me, come chat with everyone else, come hang out, you know, play some games. I fucking love interacting with you guys there. Gotta plug the Discord when I can. Come join that Discord, guys. I love seeing you guys there.
Bombarding it with void ship lances and storming the surface.
Another shameless plug there. Gotta plug it when you can, you know what I'm saying? Give me every opportunity I can.
In conjunction with the attack on Calth, Angron and Lorgar were making planetfall on Armatura.
Just joined? That's awesome to see, man. You probably already know, but Monkai is the Elder, just calling him a monkey. Yeah, I assumed. I've heard that slur thrown before. And definitely I caught on there. Monkai, monkey. Yeah, definitely easy to see the relation there for sure. Yeah. Also funny, there was a loyalist word bearer Dreadnought as one of the voices. Yeah. I don't use Discord, you still read the comments? Of course I still read the comments, guys. Of course I still read the comments. I'm absolutely reading the comments all the time. It's just the Discord makes it so much easier, organizational-wise, to react to the videos that you guys want to see next. But of course, I'm always reading the comments. I'm never not reading the comments. I just always can't respond to all the comments. You know, it's so much to respond to sometimes. So if I don't get back to you, I apologize. But yes, I do read all the comments, for sure. I joined the server and my life turned around. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Thank you very, very much for that. Gotta enjoy the plug, the shameless plugs. Plug. Damn right. They else it every humanoid race until they met us. Oh, okay.
Spent a considerable amount of time planning the attack on Armatura, But everything changed as soon as their drop pods crashed onto the planet's surface. The word bearers were organized, tactical, and communicated every step of the way as they begun executing the details of their plan.
Right.
The World Eaters were a complete mess.
Yeah, they came in and fucked it all up.
As soon as they had landed, they became lost to the nails and separated from their assigned battle groups.
Of course.
The Ultramarines on Armatura quickly realized that the absence of discipline from the World Eaters was a tactical advantage.
Of course, yeah.
They began baiting the World Eaters into battle, and then detonated buildings as they charged towards them, crushing massive groups of them under the rubble.
It would be so easy to bait these guys.
The Word Bearers, witnessing their brother Legion abandon all discipline, opted not to support them when they called for reinforcements.
Of course, why would they? Like, listen, if you're gonna charge head first into every engagement and then be shocked when you get decimated, bro, like, no, we're not gonna help you out. You're killing yourselves. Like, why would we support you? I'm not gonna throw more of our very limited force into an unwinnable fight, which you have gotten yourself into time and time again. That's insane. Like, Lorgar, man, again, out of all the traitor Primarchs so far, I'm liking Lorgar the most, man. This guy is talking straight facts, slow, methodical. Slow is fast, fast is clear. You know what I'm saying? Fast is, or no, what is it? Slow is fast, and fast is, I forget the way the fucking saying goes. But either way, the point of the matter is like, bro, you don't want to rush in there because you want to pace yourself. You want to make sure you're methodical, that you're actually going about it in an organized way that makes sense. These guys are just getting themselves killed. Like, actually just getting themselves killed.
And abandoned all discipline, opted not to support them when they called for reinforcements.
No.
Fearing that they could be walking
slow
into
is
a
fast,
death trap.
fast is smooth. Thank you, Pyth. I
on
appreciate
Armatura
that.
was eventually
Thank you.
won, but it
It's
came
having a
at high
massive brain
cost.
fart there.
Countless World Eaters were killed, Titans were destroyed, and even Angron himself
Check
nearly
out
died
Warrior
under the
Tears
weight
video
of
on
the collapsed
Sanguinius
building.
soon. Yeah, we can absolutely
Now,
do that.
More than ever before, it was painfully obvious. The
Slow is
Victor's
smooth,
nails
smooth is fast.
Were destroying the World Eaters.
That's right, yes.
With Armatura now in ruins, Lorgar's plan to destroy Ultramar
Slow is
was
smooth,
almost
smooth is
complete.
fast. That's correct.
During the Battle of Calth, Erebus unleashed a ruin storm, a massive warp disruption. The warp storm grew in size and strength, feeding off the souls of those that were slain throughout Ultramar.
Damn.
Aboard Fidelitas Lex, Lorgar was revealing the final step of his plan to Angron.
As we destroy Guilliman's empire, there is one last world that must be killed. A world on the fringes of Ultramar. Once this destruction occurs, it will feed into the ruin storm, and we will have constructed a barrier, a wall of dead worlds and warp energy. The Imperium will not be able to save Ultramar.
Damn.
No one will know how to get in or out, except for us.
May I assume that you will get to the point
Literally.
and tell me what this world is?
Bro, Lorgar, Angron, literally, he's pitying him, bro. I feel so bad for Lorgar. This dude's like talking to a fucking child. He's trying to explain, okay, this is how it's gonna be. We're gonna get in there. Man, my master plan, it's gonna come to fruition. It's gonna win us the battle. Why are you wasting my time with simple talk, Lorgar? Oh, Angron, you sad motherfucker. You motherfucker, you just need to listen, please. Like, please, we're begging you. Like, oh my god, dude. I feel bad for Lorgar. I actually kind of feel bad for this guy. Is that bad to say? Is that sad? Like, I kind of feel for him in a way. You know what I'm saying? It's doomed. His whole cause is doomed because of the incompetence of his fucking brothers, dude. Oh, man.
To the point and tell me what this world is.
Oh, Angron. Your impatience never ceases.
Literally talking to a child, bro.
But of course, brother.
Lorgar turned back to the hololithic display, observing the wall of dead worlds and a warp storm running across the length of Ultramar. He pointed to a tiny sphere on the display.
Anchoritis, Loyalist, Wordbearer, Dreadnought, by the way. Ooh.
The killing blow will be dealt.
It's doomed. It is doomed. How is it anything but doomed, bro? Like, what the hell?
Angron was completely silent.
Like, it's one thing to hear about the heresy and how it happened on a grand scale, but to actually, like, hear the inner workings going on and just at a leadership level, how much of a fucking mess it is, bro. Oh, man. Like, yeah, greatest threat to the Imperium for sure. But holy shit, they were a mess organizational-wise. Like, no shit, they failed. They only lost because the Emperor fucking had such love for his children, such love for Horus. He didn't want to fucking kill him, bro. But like, if it was anything but that, this is a scheme. This is a literal rat scheme that is bound to fail, bro. Like, what the hell? Lorgar should realize at this point that he's trying to reason with the soon-to-be Cornite Berserker. He's trying to reason with a brick wall, bro. That's more what it's like. It's literally a brick wall at this point. You can't reason. There's no reasoning with it. He's already come to that realization prior when they were like chasing after those Eldari vessels. Like, yeah, it's a brick wall. I'll just fucking help you. I'll help you because it's a waste of time to argue. Genuinely a waste of time. I'll just help you. Like, damn, dude. So rough. I feel bad for him, bro. Things are about to get ugly? Yeah, no doubt.
Will be dealt here.
Nasaria. Oh.
Nuceria.
Angron was
I
completely
think I've heard of this
silent
one
as he
slightly
stared at the
before,
display.
too.
Then he turned his head and looked at Lorgar.
I am not going back to Nuceria.
There is no other way to seal Ultramar off from the Imperium, brother.
So this is another interesting fact. Sorry to like pause so early, but you can see the hypocrisy of Angron play into full display here. I'm not going back to my home planet. Is it because he's embarrassed or because he doesn't want to finish what he started? Because he's getting the opportunity to finish what he started. He's getting the opportunity now to kill everyone on that planet. Something he wanted back when he still maintained some degree of free will. Now he doesn't want to go back. You're kind of seeing that hypocrisy on full display there. You're seeing Angron act with like just emotion, raw emotion. I want to go there and kill everyone. Oh no, I don't want to go back there. Like, Angron, you little bitch. You got to pick one and stick with it. You know what I'm saying? Nuceria is the planet Angron landed on. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying here. That's what I'm saying. A planet where obviously such pain in his head for that planet, right? But it's ultimately where he wanted to go and die on, you know? It's where he wanted to make his last stand with his brothers, his true brothers on that planet. And the opportunity was stolen from him, right? And he doesn't want to go back. He's still a child mentally. Well, is that true though? Because I think they by this point I feel like they've matured. Like, it's been quite a few years. So I think it's, if anything, it's the nails in his head, right? That are keeping him back, right? Like, Lorgar seems more than capable here. I'm just saying, maybe Lorgar had obviously you guys are saying that he had a very challenged childhood as well. But you know, he's definitely doing a lot better mentally than fucking Angron is. That's for certain, you know? Yeah, entire emperor worshipping cult is based on Lorgar's Bible. Wow. That's true, actually. That's true. He's the word bearers, right? Yeah, that was their whole shtick. Damn. The planet joined the Imperium around the same time Angron rebelled. Oh, so he never got the chance. So that he never got the chance to bring a pacification war, let's say, or a pacification cause to the planet because it was already in the Imperium. He missed his opportunity. I see. Stunted his mental growth? Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I was thinking. Yeah. Probably the nails? Yeah, I'd have to assume so, right?
Of course there is. There are countless worlds outside of Ultramar's borders that could accomplish the same thing. I will never return to Nuceria.
These other worlds you speak of, they will not work for this purpose.
Why won't they work?
You are just going to have to trust me, Angron.
No! No! No!
Like, he's having a fit like a child here. You're just gonna have to trust me, Angron. See, the problem is he's tried to explain to Angron so many times his plan, and Angron outright just says, why the fuck are you telling me this? I don't give a shit. You know? So what's the point in Lorgar even fucking trying to explain? You're just gonna have to trust me. No! I don't want to trust you, Lorgar! Like, bro, what the fuck? He's still on having a temper tantrum here. It's interesting to see a doomed rebellion, a stupid rebellion, you know? Tyrion Lannister's words, a stupid rebellion then. I guess your father realized that when your brothers died in battle. I love that quote. Definitely kind of works here too in a sense, you know? Damn.
Are you doing this just to torment me?
Oh my god.
You know I swore never to return to Nuceria.
Wow.
Tell me now, Lorgar. Why Nuceria?
To save you.
I've always found it kind of interesting that Angron wanted to die on Nuceria, but instead of killing himself on some random world or in his room, he drags his entire legion of adoring sons into chaos. Exactly. Like, it's the case of he's bringing everybody down with him. Yeah, it's awful what happened to Angron. I'm not disputing that at all. The fact that he got his choice taken from him, but the fact that he is careless in the fact that these people that adore him, that want nothing more than to just make their fucking father proud in a sense, he's willing to just disregard that all, and he doesn't give a shit about them. It's really quite tragic, you know. All the Primarch's fates are so tragic, poor guys. Some tragic more than others, I want to say at this point, from at least what I'm seeing. But obviously it's the case of how do you deal with it, right? Angron never got a choice. That's the problem with him. He got the nails inserted at a pretty young age, all things considered. Never really got that choice, but definitely I feel like a lot of Primarchs felt they came upon hardships, but it was just the case that they endured, they made rational choices, and they still tried to, at the end of the day, be the best that they could. Angron has fully, before the Emperor even found him, fully succumbed to death, fully succumbed to the idea of dying for something that he believes in, and to have it ripped from him, it's just like, it's not amendable, it's not something you could patch, you know what I'm saying? Angron's story is one of the cycle of abuse, yeah. Angron wants to die in battle, exactly, yeah, he wants to die with glory, but the fact that he can't just go out and die himself, he's got to bring his legion with him. And I think that's initially when they found him, right? He was trying to kill all the Astartes commanders that came to speak with him. He saw it as a battle. He just wanted to die at that point. Like he expected to back on his home planet, right? Very interesting, very interesting. They never gave him the opportunity. They weren't going to fight back on with him, right? They were just willing to let him kill them. Very interesting.
To end your torment. To free you from the nails.
It's impossible, Lorgar. Removing them will kill me.
Maybe. Maybe not. Keeping them in your head is killing you all the same.
Exactly.
The Nucerians created the Butcher's Nails. If anyone in the galaxy knows how they were created, they will be on Nuceria.
Exactly.
You lied to me. Fed me this drivel of building a barrier.
I did not lie to you. Taking Nuceria will close Ultramar off from the rest of the Imperium. It must be done. But I am also going to save you, Angron.
See, Lorgar is actually trying to, like...
I am going to try.
Lorgar is actually being a G brother here. As long as he doesn't have any dark intentions here, he's genuinely trying to look out for his brother here in that sense. Even seeing how far he's lost himself, he's still trying to look out for his brother in a sense. Man, Lorgar is kind of a fucking G, dude. Like, again, I know he's a heretic, but guys, you gotta admit, like, you kind of can't help but support him in a sense, but kind of root for him, you know what I mean? Like, goddamn. The Emperor and the Nucerians abused Angron, so like a schoolboy bully, he took his anger out on his legion. That's fair. That's a fair way to look at it, actually, yeah. Like, I don't really get what keeps Angron going. He barely listens to his father's orders, but still technically did them, right? So wouldn't death be better than the nails, being a slave to himself? Yeah, exactly, right? Because he admits that the nails are like one of the key factors that enslaved him, right? So when fulfilling his dream of dying in battle, going into a world alone, going in there yourself, giving yourself, not your legion, but yourself that 31-hour time period. And then if he dies, man, at least you died doing something that at least brings you brief moments of respite. And also you died doing something that you believe is your salvation, in a sense, you know? Death is salvation to him, in a sense. Didn't save him at the end, doomed him for all the time. Yeah. Funny that Lorgar is one of the most hated among 40K fans usually. Really? Why is he the most hated? That's interesting. Somebody let me know. Why is he the most hated in 40K? See, like I'm hearing what he has to say, and he seems like one of the most logical fucking Primarchs I've seen thus far, honestly. Maybe that's a fucking massive hot take, guys, but I don't know. Like he seems very logical in my mind, guys. Like, I don't know. Hot take, maybe, but my fucking headphones keep sliding off my head, dude. Damn.
The Conqueror, followed by a fleet of ships, landed in the Cellectra mountains. It had been more than a century
causing the
since
heresy.
Angron was last on this area.
I guess in general, yeah, causing the heresy, but also, man, the word bearers were trying to preach the Emperor's good word. They just did it in the wrong way. But eventually, they did it in the fucking right way because the ecclesiarchy came to be. And then they started kind of preaching the same thing that the word bearers were initially preaching anyway. So it's just kind of insane to me, you know? Like, I wouldn't even say, like, from my perspective, and again, I don't know the full context, right? But Lorgar doesn't even seem like he himself caused it, per se, you know? Manipulated by Erebus and his stepfather to fall to chaos. Seriously, though, these two have some awesome moments during this crusade. A Warhound Titan, Smallest Titan, tries to step on Lorgar, and Angron bench presses it to save him. Yeah, see, like, even though Angron is an asshole, right? They're still looking out for each other as brothers would, in a sense. So I think Angron definitely, as much as he shit talks Lorgar and is like ribbing him at times, I think he still has a respect for him for sure. Like, you have to recognize that. Lorgar is really interesting, but yeah, people hate him for dooming humanity. Yeah, that's fair. I guess that's fair. That's, in a sense, it's, yeah, reasonable. From the use of the word bearer teachings. Yeah, that's right. Because Lorgar was the first Primarch to fall to chaos because he helped orchestrate the Horus heresy and start the war. Also because he fully knew the depth of chaos by the time he fell to chaos. I see. So Lorgar actually fully knew what chaos could be, what it was. And he still fell for it anyway, knowing that. Versus the other ones might not have known exactly what they were dealing with. That's an interesting distinction to make. Okay. That makes a lot of sense then. That does make a lot of sense.
But even after 100 years, they were still there. The bones. The remains of Angron's fallen eaters of cities.
Wow.
Angron stood solemnly, and tears slowly ran down his face.
Tears ran down his face.
In all the decades of time spent together, Karn had never witnessed Angron shed a single tear.
Wow.
But Angron's moment of vulnerability was nothing more than that. A single moment. The nails thumped in Angron's head, harder than they ever had before.
This is where it all began. And where it should have ended.
You deserved better, Angron.
Yeah, he did.
Angron drew his chain
to be
sword,
fair.
staring down at Deshea from the mountains.
The High Riders.
And I guess the High Riders still rule at this time.
Those bastards.
If they succumb to Imperium rule.
And our father. He could have saved your warriors.
Yes, he could have.
All of these bones. They could have lived.
That's true. Would have meant nothing to the Emperor to do that.
The nails slamming in a deafening crescendo.
Deshea must burn, Lorgar. This entire world needs to burn.
Lorgar remained stoic, but inside, he was ecstatic. Everything was going according to plan.
This is how he wants them, yeah. He wants them amped up for this fight, yeah.
The World Eaters and the Word Bearers breached the gates of Deshea. Kinguard's soldiers watched as they marched through the city. They were confused by what they were seeing, and they conveyed this message to the Praxery of Deshea.
We're not under attack.
No, Lord, but they are within the city walls. There are thousands of them.
What are they doing?
I don't know, Lord, but I think they're coming here.
They're coming for
Before
you
the Praxery
specifically.
could respond, the throne room door swung open. The 2 Primarchs entered the room, followed by ranks of World Eaters and Word Bearers.
Wow.
And the room fell silent.
Forgive my ignorance. I have been away for many years. Who is the ruling family?
The boy sitting upon the throne didn't say anything, instead letting a Kinguard soldier standing to his left
That's
speak
going to
for him.
piss him off.
The ruling family is House Thalkir, sir. Is there a matter which we can assist you with?
Thalkir.
Thalkir, uh-oh.
All eyes were on Angron as he approached the throne.
I haven't heard that name in many years.
This is going to cause Angron to crash out, like, straight up. I can already imagine. That name is going to piss him right off, bro. Excuse me there, excuse me. All I ever wanted was the truth, yeah. Lorgar is kind of weepy, and one of his sons, an abuse stads, manipulated him. Complex character, though. Yeah, he definitely seems complex for sure. Lorgar said that he needed a god/gods to worship no matter how vile, and he also saw them as the universal truth in the galaxy. Are super chats like donations? Can I donate or something? Yeah, super chats are basically donations to my knowledge. Essentially, it's like a highlighted comment in a sense. Versus like a membership is like a monthly thing, I'm pretty sure. Can't wait for you to watch Erebus Story Lore by the Amber King so you can join 1 or 2 groups. Join 1 of 2 groups. The one who hates Erebus or the one who loves to hate Erebus. Yeah, I guess we'll have to see for ourselves there, eh? Fuck, boys.
Who are you?
The soldier said in shaking fear.
The last time
Angron's gonna crash out, bro. Angron's gonna mad crash out.
Called Thalkir.
Wow.
Angron Thalkir.
Angron?
Angron?
That's impossible.
No, sir.
He couldn't still be alive. He fought in the Cellectra Mountains nearly 100 years ago.
Wow.
He ran away from the battle. He left his army to die.
Ran away. Uh-oh.
Ran
yeah.
away. ...
Question mark. Yeah.
Tried to speak.
Uh-oh.
He was overcome with terror and couldn't form a single word.
You just fucked up, brother.
Angron grabbed the soldier by the head, lifting him up with one hand.
Oh.
Left my army to die.
Yeah.
The nails had taken
He's
control.
gonna just fucking head
Angron
pop him, bro.
squeezed the life out of the soldier.
Oh no. Yeah.
The Praxery and his defense force
We couldn't have saw that one coming though, guys. Couldn't have saw that one coming. Angron's gonna crash out, yeah.
Will be destroyed. There will be no survivors.
Yeah. You should have watched those words.
The 12th and 17th legions moved quickly, leaving each city.
Bro, how are you gonna say, I am Angron, I am here, I have returned. But Angron ran away 100 years ago. Brother, you're not just gonna say that. If he's saying like he's Angron, bro, who are you to tell this gigantic dude that he's not Angron? What the fuck? Like, I know you didn't just do that, my man. Like, what? You just kind of asked for that one.
There will be no survivors.
Yeah.
The 12th and 17th legions moved quickly, leaving each city on Nuceria in ashes and wreckage. They had spent 6 days ravaging the surface. Lotar Sarin was given specific instructions not to bombard the planet.
Oh.
Angron wanted to handle this himself.
Damn. Bro didn't love his life. Yeah, he gave up. He straight gave up, it felt like there, did he not?
Cities one by one.
Wow.
Mehor was the only one that remained. But before the final battle could even begin, a warship broke through the warp and floated in orbit above Nuceria.
Oh.
Courage above all was piloted by the Ultramarines.
Okay.
They were seeking revenge for the savagery that had been inflicted on Ultramar.
Damn.
The World Eaters
Ultramarines are here to give him a fight, it looks like.
And began a devastating assault on the city. Those that weren't crazed by the nails took cover and established primary battle positions. They knew it wouldn't be long before the 13th Legion drop pods rained down from the sky.
Damn.
What began as a simple assault on the only remaining Nucerian city.
Maybe a hot take, man, but I know I've seen a lot of like light blues on the Ultramarines and whatnot before, but I love these like deep, darker kind of blues. Still very bright, but I love those deep blues with that gold. That's a sick illustration. I love the look of that right now. Like, you know, again, I'm usually Ultramarines, you know, I respect them definitely, but they are kind of the poster boy, like, average, you know, so I don't know if I would personally collect them just for that reason, just because, like, you know, you see so many of them, but man, I love the color scheme of them. Such a unique, not necessarily unique color scheme, but obviously such a noted color scheme. You see them, you know that's an Ultramarine, and the armor scheme is beautiful, I will say. Like, the color scheme they got going on, that blue on gold on red there, fucking beautiful. I love it, you know? Nice contrast, exactly, yeah.
Quickly transformed into an all-out war.
Lorgar is like one of my favorite women, the only one to speak up against Angron. How did that go for her, if I might ask?
A fleet of ships that followed Courage above all, and a void battle was raging above the surface war. The word bearers, Fidelitas Lex, was killed, and it crashed down off the Nucerian coast, sending a tidal wave 4 stories high crashing over the city. As the Ultramarines and the 2 traitor legions engaged each other, Guilliman confronted Lorgar in a decimated city street.
Wow. Guilliman himself is here.
The Illuminarium, the weapon that Ferrus Manus had crafted for him long before the heresy. And the 2 Primarchs battled with strength and ferocity.
Can't stick around, but I hope you have a nice stream. Hey, big shout out to you, Goop. Thank you for sticking around. That's all good, man. For anyone who wasn't able to make the full stream, of course, I will re-upload the full stream. I'll adjust the audio a little bit, add some credits in there, chop it up a little bit nicer, you know. So feel free, absolutely. Thank you for showing up, Goop. I appreciate you there a lot. She shot a World Eater captain in the head, which did nothing as the helmet was on for failing to follow orders, and everyone else beats the captain. Wow. So they respect her a lot, definitely. She's the captain of the World Eater flagship. Okay, that makes sense. Shout out to Goop. Big shout out to Goop, of course. Big shout out to Goop. Gotta love Goop. Nails. Yeah, damn right. Pretty much. I mean, dude, these guys are fucking insane. Like, again, tragic tale, but what a nasty way to succumb yourself. You know what I mean? Like, why willingly make that choice? Again, you want to feel close to your father, but it's such a shame that the World Eaters, the ones that refused, got annihilated, you know? Because it would be really cool to see some chapters, like, of surviving World Eaters, but obviously not possible, you know?
Of mere mortals.
Kauth, Armatura, Erith 5.
Guilliman screamed the names of the dead Ultramar worlds as he swung his sword.
Wow.
You shouldn't have come here, Robute.
Robute.
You are going to die on this backwater world.
Wow.
Behind them, Titans clashed and traded cannon blasts. Gunships exploded overhead, and the 13th Legion lander ships avoided the
She loves ramming ships with her own. I can respect that.
Support.
Sounds like my kind of lady, you know what I'm saying?
Angron threw himself.
I joke, I kid. But no, I love a nice ramming formation maneuver, I should say.
Pitiful to see 2 of my brothers become heretics.
Oof.
I'm not your brother, Robute. I never was.
Exactly, there it is.
You landed on a paralyzed world with everything given to you.
That's true.
I landed in a slave pit with everything taken from me. I had my brothers and sisters ripped from me, left to die alone.
Yeah.
You could have overcome your past, built a better future for your sons, but those hate engines in your brain ruined you.
That's facts.
Turned you into this.
That's mad facts.
Angron knocked Guilliman off balance with a force.
There's a lot of fan art of her with abs, no doubt. I imagine that lady must be toned.
Guilliman's fist connected with Angron's face. One of the skulls around Angron's neck flew to the ground. Guilliman took a step and crushed the skull beneath his foot.
Oh.
The skull of one of Angron's fallen brothers.
Damn.
This was the defining moment of the battle, and Lorgar knew it.
Oh.
This moment here was why Lorgar had come to Nuceria. As Angron howled in rage and swung his chainsword at Guilliman, Lorgar began chanting in an ancient, alien language.
Oh. Lorgar's back there, fucking fucking he's summoning some warp beast.
The power of the warp became a tangible force. The sky went dark and blood rained down from the blackened clouds. Lorgar never stopped
Holy
chanting.
shit.
A blinding ray of light beamed down from the sky, and a deafening wall of sound washed over the dying city.
Oh, that looks crazy.
Gilliman lay on his back, bones broken and bloodied from Angron's wrath.
Damn.
He watched as Angron began clawing at his own face, screaming horrifically into the sky.
Oh.
The blood poured down even harder.
Damn.
Where Angron once stood was now a hulking mass of flames.
Oh.
Metamorphosis. Ascension. Beneath the blaze, Angron's skin was gone.
Damn.
Nothing but inhuman, molten gore remained.
So he just straight up turned into a fucking, like, a chaos Primarch right then and there. Like a fucking cocoon, like a caterpillar out of a cocoon. Lorgar here to save the day? Yeah, apparently so. Join the server. Good to see you there. Cellectra, hopefully I pronounced that name right. Good to see you in the Discord. Hopefully you enjoy your time there. I know again, we got a lot of good conversations going on there, and I love talking to you guys there. It's awesome to see you guys. Shout out to the Discord as always. Plug time, exactly. You know it. You called it. Plug time. Plug time. Here we go. Plug time. Yeah. No, but seriously though, big shout out. Thank you for joining. It's good to see you there.
Gilliman and the Ultramarines that were now retreating.
Angron turned into a demon prince of Khorne. Yeah.
And the birth of a demon prince.
Demon prince. Wow. That's a fucking title to have right there, man. Demon prince.
Blood.
He corrupted Angron. Blood for the blood god. Yeah, he corrupted Angron. See, did he corrupt Angron? See, Angron seemed very corrupted on his own due to the nails, due to like what he was already experiencing. He already seemed very much on the path of corruption, and I think that, dare I say, might have happened even without Lorgar's intervention, to be completely honest with you. Maybe not as fast, but I could definitely see him on the way to that metamorphosis regardless. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but can Lorgar just do this at will, or is it because Angron was already so far gone? Yeah, exactly. Like, if he could do this at any point, I'm assuming it would be the first thing you do, right? But again, Angron was on this path. Lorgar, I feel like, just simply took advantage of it. Maybe that's the wrong way to view it, but he did. Yes, Angron became a demon prince, but he consent to become one. Exactly. He cast the corrupting spell. Yeah. Slave to the nail, slave to rage, slave to war, and now he's forever a slave to the gods of war. But he did that to himself, though. Again, you know what I'm saying? Maybe that's the wrong take, but any mortal can become a demon prince. It's just that since he's a Primarch, he's also extra strong. Yeah, okay. So anyone could potentially become a warp beast in a sense, a demon prince in a sense, but just obviously Angron went fucking way too far with it there. His lust for blood, his lust for vengeance, his lust to stick it to the man, literally, at the end of the day, that's what it is. Stick it to the Emperor, stick it to the man. Wow. Khorne a legal contract type god? Lorgar forced it, but Angron was gone. Yeah, I feel like Angron at this point was very much just a husk at this point. Very much just a husk, and dare I say had been for years at this point. Yo, looks like I woke up just in time. Just in time. We're kind of getting to the end of it a little bit here, but just in time, yeah.
For the blood god.
Lorgar didn't allow him to die without corrupting him to chaos. That's fair. Wow. That's nuts. I guess that's a good point, actually, because, yeah, once again, Angron was ignorant to that, again, yeah, so I guess I can see what you guys mean, a slave to it still. Even if he was gone, still didn't really consent in a way, but was just way too ignorant to realize, in a sense. Maybe that's a better way to view it. Angron was about to die, okay. So even his final wish of finally dying, in a sense, Lorgar didn't even give that to him. Okay, I can kind of see where that treachery comes into play then. Butcher's
Is
nails,
he
we're about to kill him?
in pain?
Okay.
Yes.
What did you do?
I saved him.
Saved is a funny
The man
word,
who was
Lorgar.
once the Warhounds, captain of the 8th Assault Company, approached the door to the hall where Angron remained. Karn stood outside of the door. and
Yeah,
quietly spoke to
definitely
himself
betrayed
under his breath.
Angron. Yeah. I can definitely
Done
see
this
that
before.
betrayal. Yeah.
He trusts me.
Karn, you're about to get your fucking face ripped off.
Karn opened the door.
Straight up, that's
and
what's about
slowly
to
walked
happen
down
here.
the
This is a
stairs.
different Angron. This ain't the Angron
The
you're used
sound
to,
of the
man.
demon's breathing was all that Karn could
This is a
hear.
demon. This ain't Angron. Jesus.
I need you to do something.
Oh my god.
Anything. You and your brothers gather 300 souls and take their skulls. Build me a throne.
Wow. Wow. Is that it there? Almost. We'll watch the credits here. I'm sure there's gonna be some credits. Wow. Holy shit, guys. Fantastic. Abandoning my sleep schedule. I'm gonna chill here for a while. Well, sorry, Goof. We're almost at the end here anyway, so won't have to abandon your sleep schedule too much at least. Don't want to keep you up there. Wow. Narrated by Warrior, Angron of Vox and Void. So many great people, so many great narrators a part of this. Wow. Fantastic work. Absolutely fantastic work. Sound design, Evolve Audio, 3D animation, Morgan Jones. Again, big shout out. Just want to say, narration work, obviously peak narration work. Love the narration in that. But holy shit, the animation, the narration style, the way it was illustrated to show who was talking, love that. Love the detail on that. Special thanks. Let's keep going here. I just want to give everybody their just due who created this work. This was fantastic. Wow. Now you know why nearly everyone hates Lorgar. I don't know, man. A little bit of a backstabber, but still, fucking only one with a bit of logical thinking, you know? Damn, guys. Big thank you to everyone, obviously, who donated to this, made it possible, because, damn, I can only imagine the amount of work that went into this. Holy shit. Wow, guys. Once again, that was Angron, Eater of Worlds, published by Warrior Tier, but so many fantastic narrators, graphic designers, sound designers in it. Wow. I thought that was fantastic, guys. That was fucking awesome, straight up. And now you know why nearly everyone hates Lorgar. Yeah, exactly. He most likely became Doombreed. Yeah. I don't know what Doombreed is. Somebody explain Doombreed a little bit there. React to Lorgar Monologue real quick. Yeah, we can chew that real quick. Why not? Fuck it. He betrayed everyone. Do you have time to watch Gene Stealer's story by Warrior Tier? We're not going to be reacting to too many here. If it's a short one, we can check out one or two more. Told me to remind you. Yeah, Anthrax. Yeah, Lorgar Monologue real quick. Yeah, for sure. I told you before we would check that out. We'll absolutely check that out right now. But I don't want to react to too many guys. I got to keep you coming back somehow. You know what I'm saying? We got to make a new video every single day. Got to keep you coming back. You know what I'm saying? Don't want to spoil it all right here, right now. You know? Yeah, of course. Wow. Yeah. Let's take a look here. What's that called? Lorgar Monologue. Let's see here. Lorgar Monologue. Spelt that wrong. Lorgar Monologue. Minute 54. Is this one here the one? Top one, I'm guessing? Markscop? I'm assuming? Just want to make sure that's the right one, guys. Obviously, it's a little bit behind the text and whatnot. A little bit behind. Great stream, man. Thank you, Captain K. I really appreciate that. Big shout out to you, man. Thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate that a lot, buddy. Really means a lot. Yes? That one? All right. For sure. Mark, stop.
You hear it.
Let's see here. We'll go back. Lorgar Monologue. monologue at the start of the novel Betrayer by Aaron, narrated by Jonathan Keeble. So this is Lorgar Monologue before Armature, Mark Scop. First one, animated. Yeah, okay. Horse Heresy cinematic trailer. It's like 1:30. I haven't seen that one either, actually, guys. I got to check out. I'm going to make a video, I'm thinking, where I check out all these trailers, all these great trailers that you guys have been asking me to check out, because they're all a bunch of smaller ones, and I think that would be a cool video just to go through and check out all the different trailers in a video sometime, for sure, for sure. But yeah, let's check this one out, guys. This is Lorgar Monologue by Mark Scop here on YouTube. Let's check this out.
Calth is the syncopated backbeat to the song.
Mm.
The rhythm beneath the rhyme. That much fire, that much misery, that much pain. Suffering has always fueled the warp in random stains and stigmata. Now we learn the virtue of control. Can you hear it? Can you hear the pain stirring the tides? Can you hear the crash of those waves, Magnus? Can you hear how those black tides beat, a million hearts bursting out loud?
Not to pause in the middle of this, but it's interesting to hear how Lorgar, he's talking about himself as if he's enlightened here. You know what I'm saying? As if a truth has been viewed for the first time. He's talking enlightened. You know what I'm saying? Very, very interesting. Very interesting. Good night, everyone. Yeah, good night, Goop. You have yourself a good one, eh? Don't be ruining your sleep schedule on behalf of us, you know. But it's good to have you here. Of course, the full thing will be uploaded at the end. But yeah, very interesting how he's talking about his enlightened state here, how he's viewing it from a different perspective. Obviously, he's still very much a backstabber, but very, very interesting here.
Crash of those waves, Magnus. Can you hear how those black tides beat, a million hearts?
Thinking the stream would be short, would be perfect for shorter stuff. Yeah.
Drums in the deep cold.
I'll touch on that in a second here.
The tides of the Sea of Souls can be altered by mortal hands, brother.
Wow.
Listen. We are reordering the war.
Anthony Anderson, wow. Magnus. Thank you, Anthony. Hold up, we got to pause for that. Big shout out to you, Anthony. Holy shit, I appreciate that a lot, buddy. Thanks, man. I massively appreciate that. Big shout out to you, Anthony Anderson. Holy shit, I appreciate that, sir. Sanguinius next stream or soon? Yeah, buddy. Okay, yeah, we got to do that for sure sometime. Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Sanguinius. And to touch on that while we're paused, absolutely. The shorter stuff would be great to do on stream. I wouldn't mind doing even just a shorter hour-long stream or something sometime. Check out some of these shorter trailers. If you guys want, rather than a video, I could absolutely turn that into a live stream sometimes if you guys want to be an active part of that. For sure, for sure. Absolutely no problem at all. Thank you for that donation there, Anthony. I appreciate that.
The warp itself, Magnus. Changing it through pain. We're rewriting the song. Every life, every death, every cry of pain across these burning worlds thins the veil between reality and the first realm. Call it Hades or Hell, Jahannam, Naraka, or the Underworld. Call it the Warp. Call it whatever you will, but I am bringing it forth onto the material plane. Calth was the genesis of the storm, Magnus.
I love you, eh? Not as much as I love you.
Subsector suffer enough that the curtain falls and the 500 worlds drown in the warp. Tell me you feel it. Tell me you can hear the million demons shrieking and baying, desperate to be born upon these burning worlds.
Abrupt end there, but yeah, he's even talking at the end. Sorry, we'll go back there.
You hear it.
He's even talking at the end there about how he can hear these motherfuckers. He can hear the warp calling out to him. Wow, that's very interesting. He's again talking very enlightened, like he knows the truth. He knows what the inevitable truth is. Wow, that was very deep. Obviously, though, I don't want to take away from the main focus of the stream, which obviously was this has a good bit of context. I'm not gonna lie. That was a very good bit of context, but I don't want to take away from the mainstream, obviously, Angron World Eater. I want to talk about this for a little bit. I thought the entire thing from start to finish was fantastic, first off. I thought his youth really built up the character that he becomes. It really shows the tragedy at such a young age, never having a choice in your upbringing, in your decisions, in what you do with your life, and just how that could affect somebody going into adulthood or maturity. Obviously, having the augmentation, the nails implanted in you too, man, such a fucking brutal way to, I guess, instill bloodlust. And you have to remember, these were gladiators initially. This happened too. So obviously to see it implemented on such a grand scale into Space Marines, recipe for disaster. Absolutely. That's just, you know, never was going to work. The Emperor, I think, lacked a lot of foresight when he did that. Can't agree with the decision at all. And man, really shot himself in the foot there at the end of the day. My God, you know, wow. But again, I thought the whole thing, start to finish, was fantastic. The illustrations used throughout this was amazing. Obviously, I'm guessing some of the animated parts were done specifically for this video. Thought that was great. Thought that was fantastic. Really would recommend this video to anyone. Obviously a longer one, but man, I like these longer videos. I really enjoy them a lot, you know what I'm saying? So I thought this was perfect. I really thought this was great. I just started learning about Sanguinius, and he's one of my favorites so far. I've heard a lot of good things about Sanguinius there. A lot of people say that he's one of their favorite Primarchs for sure. I wonder how different it could have been if the Emperor showed compassion and helped his rebellion. Yeah, and not even like helped his rebellion, but simply just got his boys out of there, you know what I mean? Like, simply just extracted not only him, but his allies, you know? I feel like that would go such a long way to instill loyalty, and then he would be thankful rather than spiteful, thankful that he got them out of that situation, that he actually saved them, you know? Show him that, yes, he wasn't there as a father, he was never present, sure, but he's trying to make amends at least, rather than take him away from something that he loves, something that he was willing to die for, and then put him with a bunch of people that don't understand him, that he feels will never understand him, you know? Very interesting. I'm going to throw a wrench in your thought process. I want you to reanalyze the entire situation, assuming that the Emperor knew half of his sons would betray him. See, that's an interesting concept, but at the end of the day, I don't think the Emperor would assume such things. You know what I mean? I think that's an odd argument in a sense, to be honest. I really do. I think the Emperor must have always wanted loyalty for his children, from his children at least, right? It doesn't make any sense, of course, to make these sons and then know for a fact that they're gonna betray you later on down the line. That seems so counterproductive, you know, in my mind. Perhaps I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't think I can understand that line of reasoning, you know? That's a hard one to think about. Fun little fact, Angron is the only Primarch to not conquer his homeworld. That's facts, actually. He tried to burn the motherfucker down. He didn't even want to go back there eventually. That's true, actually. If Angron really sees his sons as slaves, I'm surprised he treats them so cruelly. Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that's very hypocritical, and another thing I kind of picked up on too. He himself comes from a slave background. He hates the idea of slavery, hates the idea of not having a choice. These Space Marines didn't have a choice to follow him. As much as he may think that they do, they don't really have a choice, you know? The Primarch is their leader. That's their sworn leader. And so it's very hypocritical for him to just dismiss them all as like disobedient or obedient dogs, you know what I'm saying? I think that's a word he used to describe them, actually. Very interesting, very hypocritical too, though, because again, same thing happened to him, and now he's forcing it onto other people. Like, man, very hypocritical indeed. He was surprised that Morty betrayed him. The Emperor didn't have that plan. It just doesn't make sense at all. Yeah, I agree, Battle Chicken. I don't think that one makes sense, honestly. Like, I think that's a deep dive that we could maybe get into. Definitely one of the conspiratorial theories for sure. But I don't see right now, with what I know personally, I don't see a lot of credence to that one, unfortunately. You know, I see you haven't gotten deep enough down the rabbit hole to see this is somewhat likely as part of the trade he made with Chaos. Maybe. Again, I don't know enough. This is just from my personal experience. You could be absolutely correct. It's just I don't I don't know right now with my knowledge level. I don't know if there's enough credence for me to believe that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, but that could also just be Malkador spouting bullshit. That's true. That's true. You have time to watch a 13-minute video? Man, you gotta leave me those recommendations. You know, I'm gonna watch more videos in my next videos, or perhaps the next stream. Okay, I don't think I'm gonna be doing any more video reactions tonight, but definitely leave your recommendations. Even if you want to comment on this stream once I upload it, re-upload it as a full video, absolutely, we can do another stream for sure, guys. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed hearing all your thoughts and whatnot throughout. Thought it was super interesting. We get to actually discuss alongside each other here. Very, very nice. You know what I'm saying? I like it. You know. Yeah. Malkador straight up says him and the Emperor are manipulating his sons from the beginning. Really? I don't know anything about that. That could be true though. We wanted the Primarchs to turn against one another, against their father. Be assured, we maneuvered each of them. The moment of their rediscovery pitted them against one another, stoking their brotherly rivalries with his unequal favor, said by Malkador. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, Horus is in chat. Yeah, maybe we have ourselves a resident Horus in our chat here. Yeah, that's possible. Angron treated his sons like shit because they obeyed him. At every turn, he wanted them to spit in his face and say no, but they never did. See, but again, that's that loyalty that his brothers had for him, and that they were willing to die alongside with him for. So that's very, again, hypocritical to me in a sense, you know? Very hypocritical to me in a sense. Gene Stealer cult story would be nice? Absolutely, yeah. I actually do have half a mind to upload that one soon. A lot of people have been asking for that Gene Stealer cult story. So that one is going to be coming soon for sure. Or again, we could line up a couple Warrior Tier or whatever have you, a couple Vox Voids maybe, and check them out on stream sometime for sure. I absolutely would not be opposed to that at all. But yeah, guys, again, I don't want to spoil too much more. You know what I'm saying? This was already let's see here, three almost 4 hour long live stream. God damn, guys. Good reaction content though. 2 hours and we got a lot of content out of that. I'm not gonna lie, we got a lot of content out of that, but I thought it was very interesting. Constantly I want to pause, I want to break it down, I want to break down what I see, you know what I'm saying? I find it all very, very interesting. And again, I love being able to discuss with you guys like in real time here. It's so cool being able to hear your thoughts on it, being able to hear your interpretations and kind of explain it a little bit to me more so that I actually have the context going forward. I love that aspect of these live streams. It's very, very fun, guys. But yeah, we're probably gonna call it here. I definitely got to go use the bathroom, and you know, I got to edit up that video. Gonna re-upload that as soon as I can, obviously, guys. But big shout out to everyone who showed up. Big shout out to our new members, and yeah, thank you for the donations, guys. I really, really appreciate that. It really means a lot to me. Obviously, you guys inspire me to make more content for you every single day. So I really can't thank you guys enough for it. Really, really can't thank you enough for that. Voting Amber King, any video? Yeah, we can definitely check out some Amber King sometime for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, guys, it was really nice having you guys all here. Thanks for streaming. Thank you, Captain K, for showing up. I really appreciate that. Thank you for becoming a member. Big shout out to you, man. I appreciate that so much. Truly. See you, man. Take care. Yeah, great stream. Awesome. I appreciate that so much, guys. Great to have you all here as always. And yeah, big shout out to our members, our Hastati out there, and our Triarii, Paralyzed Tortoise. Big shout out to all you donators. You know, I appreciate you guys so much. If you enjoy the video, obviously, or the live stream, I guess in this case, so used to uploading just videos. If you enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe for more content from me, and leave your recommendations in the comments. In this case, in the comments of the uploaded version, or join our Discord. Obviously, got to plug the Discord again. Join our Discord, leave your recommendations there. Come be a part of the discussions. I love seeing you guys there. Yeah, boys. It's great having you all here. Take care. Yeah, great stream. Playing Satisfactory with the wife, that's always a great time. Yeah, man, I love Satisfactory, Factoria, those types of games. Love those types of games. Great choice. Falling asleep to this? Well, yeah, sorry, Goop, I didn't lullaby you to sleep fully, but yeah, I'm glad glad we could get some entertainment for you guys there, for sure. I'm gonna recommend vids from Amber King. Yeah, for sure, you should. Yes, please do. In the order you like. Yeah, send them. I love the recommendations. Yeah, man. Primark doesn't matter. Yeah, everybody, take care, guys. Take care. Big shout out to everyone. Leave a like, subscribe for more content from me. Leave your comments down below. And yeah, guys, this has been Centurion. Thank you guys for showing up. Big shout out to you all. Love seeing you all here. See you guys in the next one, fellas. Lads and lasses, I should say. Ladies and lasses. Ladies and lasses. Lads and lasses. Holy shit. I had a stroke there at the end. But yeah, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one, eh? Peace, fellas.